Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Monday Night Mayhem live on YouTube, courtesy of MRL Broadcasting, with our MRL Cup Series playoffs. Mean Gene Money here in the booth with my tag team partner, Zach Panzarella. We've got Kevin Kyle in the production truck, and we got a wing dinger of a doozy here for you today, don't we, Zach?
Yeah, we do. We're at Talladega, one of the most unpredictable and crazy racetracks on the planet, if not the most. And to add to the drama, this is a cutoff race for our MRL playoffs to go to the round of 8. So the stakes could not be higher, and we could not have asked for a more hectic and just absolutely insane track to hold this at. I am so pumped for today, me and Gene. I've been looking forward to this all day.
Absolutely. Elimination time. Somebody is going to have a sad face. In fact, not one guy, but 4 guys going to be really sad when this race is over. Last year, MRL, what they did was they had Talladega be the final elimination. This time, it's the first elimination, and 4 guys are going to be going home. Let's talk about last week first, though, Zach. Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And boy, we saw a masterclass on driving by Tony Iverson, didn't we?
Yeah, last week was a great one. It was such a difficult and challenging track for the entire field, and the cream really rose to the top the entire race with 4 guys essentially controlling the entire race. But Tony Iverson coming out on top, locking himself next to Buddy Solly as the 2 guys that get to just race for a trophy today because they are locked into the round of 8. And man, I cannot imagine how much peace of mind that is at a track like this.
Yeah, I mean, the guy took the pole. He won the thing. Fastest lap, most laps, 0 incidents. I mean, pretty much everything. You said cream rises to the top. I mean, Tony Iverson was the latte at Starbucks, the way he dominated that thing. They had a caution. They restarted with 13 laps to go. David Cook was in the lead, but he had older tires, taking a chance. And then on lap 7, we saw Tony Iverson go after Cook, take him, and he led the rest of the way. Him and Mata finished second place there. Mata and Cook had some interesting business, a little bit of bumpy. Wonder if that thing will carry over into today, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Otto or Cook, as we look at our playoff standings here and our point differential, you can't, right? You can't take any chances. Even with that plus 29 David Cook has, that is comfortable, but your race can end quicker than it can start here. So you got to just make sure to control your destiny the best you can here today. But I have my eye on that cut line, Mean Gene, and one guy, and I know you're gonna know who I'm talking about, is sticking out to me. That's pretty close to that cut line.
David Owens. He is on the line. He's still got some space, you know? I mean, look at that. He's 9 up. It's not like he has to win. So I think David's in good shape. You know, both he and Austin have kind of been trending the wrong way this last couple of races in the playoffs. But this is tough for everybody out there. Those guys, they just need to lock it in, focus, and have a really good finish. You know, we keep saying top 8 are going to go in, but you know what? If one of those bottom guys could somehow sneak their way in, then all of a sudden it's 7th place, and all those dudes are really close in line with each other. But hey, it's Talladega. Anybody can win this thing, and you know what, Zach? I think the track is just calling to me. In fact, I can't resist.
Welcome to the greatest, the quickest, and generally most serious track in all of MRL racing. It's also the home of the big one. Talladega Super Speedway is regarded as one of the riskiest tracks that we run on our circuit. Why? Because it goes so fast. 2.66 miles, 33-degree banking. This allows the cars to reach speeds well over 180 miles per hour in today's age of restrictor plate racing. Now you might be wondering, well, Gene, how fast do they go? In 1987, $1 million Bill Elliott took his Ford 212.8 miles per hour right here on this super speedway. 1 month later, Bobby Allison crashed on the front stretch, doing 100 feet of damage and causing a 2-hour red flag. The very next year, restrictor plate racing was invented. Talladega has no lights, so tonight's race will be under daylight conditions. Yes, it is. And viewers at home, here's Mean Gene's question for you. Tonight, who will be the king of restrictor plate racing? Bottoms up and hammer down.
I mean, what type of behavior has Mean Gene gotten himself up to in the booth today?
Oh my God, lock the door, lock the door. I think that lady wants her beer back, and I drank the entire thing. Man, she is not getting it back.
No, I mean, you downed that thing. That was impressive, but yeah, she did not seem too happy, Mean Gene. Good job.
It'll be okay. You know, that's what you get for being an Austin Dillon fan. All right, guys.
Yes, well
done. Welcome again. Monday Night Mayhem. We're live on YouTube. Mean Gene Money. We've got Kevin Kyle and Zach Panzarella up in the booth here. And this is it, Zach. Elimination time. Those four guys don't want to go home, but they don't have to go home, but they can't stay here. And here is in the playoffs. We're looking at going to those final 8 drivers. And we got our eyeballs firmly set on Bobby Dodson, Austin Merrow, Mason Smalley, David Owens, Justin Parham. Those guys right now battling it out. And this is not going to be a Jake Paul, Mike Tyson situation now, is it?
No, it's not. This we've said the word parity so many times this season, and our playoffs are no exception to that. Everyone here can do it, and the thing about a track like this is everyone in this field today can win this race. Nothing makes it equal for everyone like a super speedway does. Every skill or matter of being precise kind of goes out the window here. It's a totally different set of skills that it requires to be successful here. So, man, we could see a complete spoiler, someone who's not in the playoffs at all, make things more complicated, or we could see someone like Justin Parham make things really simple for himself and not even have to worry about points by going out there and getting the win.
Oh, he needs a big W. That guy's been fast at the beginning of a lot of races and has kind of faded away. And that's happened to a lot of fellows. We saw that at Indianapolis just last week, how guys could get out in the lead and run fast and wear out. But I don't think tires are going to be quite the same here. I think out here you can run this thing wide open, and we're going to need to keep an eye on those super speedway drivers that we've seen dominate so much. You know, the Jonathan Casabiers, the Michael Madas, that entire MC Motorsports team, Bobby Dodson, those guys were just really fast in practice.
Yeah, that's going to be a group to look out for, and that's going to be such a big thing today is who can find friends, who already has friends, and what teams can work together. Because one of the best ways to find success here is to get good pushes from people that you trust and that you've worked with in the past. I'll throw out a few names out there as well. Obviously, look for David Owens, someone who has always had success here. Won the stage here last season, led the most laps, knows how to stay up front in these races. Also, Alex Hillman, in the other league that we run in, won at Atlanta Super Speedway, the new configuration of Atlanta, last Sunday. So fresh off another league win at this type of track. So 2 other guys to look out for today.
Yeah, in fact, I'm getting this in right now. We are hoping that Sabir is going to make it to his car. He did not qualify, and we're seeing if he's actually going to make it by race start. So it's going to be tough for the MC Motorsports team. It might just be Bobby Dodson and Michael Mata out there by themselves. Other people to keep an eye on is how about Tucker 3000? This guy, he got a win during the regular season, but didn't run enough races to actually qualify for the playoffs. And then last week at Indy, we heard Tucker get a little bit snappy with the winner Iverson. Tucker has actually hired some mercenaries. He's got Womp Womp, Sean Walton, and he's got Andrew Bolander out there with him for the Checkers or Wreckers team. So he's got 2 guys that are not full-time drivers out there to help him. Let's keep an eye on those guys today.
Yeah, this is definitely a track that attracts part-timers in leagues because you don't have to put in as much practice as you would at like in Indianapolis. So you can just show up, race, have as good of a chance to win as anybody else, and have fun. So that's really going to make this race interesting. And with Thanksgiving coming up and this being the only race of the week for MRL with Wednesday and Thursday, and I believe Friday as well being taken off, a lot of people showing up today. So super excited about that. We see a lot of names we don't normally see in these fields. Because yeah, correct. Matt Tucker, I think this actually is his season debut this season. He may have gotten the win last year.
Or it might have been in the Wednesday series. I get those things confused.
Yeah,
but I know that he just had an interesting conversation. Oh, it was with Nate Maurer that he had that foolishness. But regardless, Tucker 3000, this guy is fast. Keep an eye on him. He's going to do something. Another interesting thing that happened was after the race, Jax Duvall, who is up in the points in 4th, had a really fun conversation with Austin Merrow, the number 8 driver in points. Those 2 guys had a little bit of a conversation in the trailer afterwards. They took that thing private. It started public. No one had Daisy Dukes. No one had a water bottle. No one brought their dad. But it was a very heated conversation. Everyone left, and those two guys had an opportunity to hash it out. And I think that conversation lasted about 0.3 seconds before it ended. So I'm really curious to see if those boys are going to continue this conversation on the track, especially since one wreck, one mistake, and either one of those guys could be watching this thing from the outside.
Yeah, along with like half the field. That's the thing about when bad blood comes into a race like this. One mistake, if it's in the first two rows, can ruin the days of your team, first of all, and then also the rest of the field. So you can create more enemies that way. You really got to be careful with the way you behave here, with your decision making. It would be interesting to see that carry over with those two drivers, with Jax and with Mero, especially with so much on the line today. But you never know. And this track is one that can create tempers because you can get bailed on. People can throw aggressive blocks on you. There's a lot of different things that can irk a driver here and send them over the edge.
You know, and sometimes I know as a driver myself, the thing that irks me most about some drivers is their face. Sometimes I just don't want to see their face at the track, and maybe we'll see a little bit of that today. I'll tell you who's got a big smile on their face, though. That's going to be the number 18 Chevrolet driver, Justin Parham. He takes his first pole of the year, Justin does, and this guy needs a win. He's 11th in points, and he is on the outside looking in. He's 9 points back of Austin Mero, and now he's 8 points back taking that pole. So really good start for him. Let's see what he can do with that thing, huh?
Yeah, that's huge for Parham. Someone who's, definitely one of our, not a must-win situation by any means, but one of the last guys looking in the playoffs and really needs to have a solid performance. So to start out with a pole, which I believe may come with some bonus points and also get to lead some laps most likely, that's huge for him to just stay ahead of it there. And usually, I mean, not always, but usually the issues happen more towards the back of the field. So that's it's a really, or I guess you could say the center of the field, right? So it's usually the right place to be. One of the best ways to stay out of trouble is to be in front of it.
You know, I did talk to a few of the drivers, though, Zach, and none of the guys had a strategy to stay in the back and wait for the wreck. We're only looking at 23 drivers here today that are going to be running, and most of the guys I talked to said that their goal was to start fast, pass quick, ride that outside line to make big moves, and then use the draft on the straightaway. Specifically, I spoke with Bobby Dodson, last year's winner. He says he feels like he's really in a need to win situation. These playoff drivers always seem to make their way up to the front of these packs, and with no huge stage points, it's almost must win for those lower drivers. So Bobby said he was going to run this thing wide open and not concern himself. And his MC Motorsport teammate Michael Mata, even though he's in sixth with a nice little lead, he also, even though he's got that 12-point lead, he said he too was just going to run this thing wide open. So I would be surprised to see any type of patience anywhere but the hospital here today at Talladega.
Yeah, I mean, also one thing that we haven't brought up yet that we're going to probably bring up a lot of times when we see incidents, not if, but when, is the fast repair. These guys have a fast repair. In a track like this, you'd almost be foolish not to use it. So that also changes the aggression from the get-go, because all these guys will be thinking, let me learn something here and maybe get some of these aggressive moves, not out of the way, but learn from them and see what I can get away with. Because I have that fast repair and I could probably afford to potentially have a bad wreck early and still recover from it. So that is a big thing that's unique to a league like MRL, especially that really, really changes the complexity of a race like this. As we look at our starting lineup today with Parham on the pole, Michael Mata next to him, two guys in our playoffs, and then Buddy Solly locked in. David Owen, someone we've talked a lot about, and he's a great performance today. And rounding out our top five, Matt Tucker, who we just spoke about, one of our part-timers.
Outside row 3 is going to be Bobby Dodson. Said he feels like he needs to win today. He won last year. Wouldn't be surprised. 7th place, Alex Hillman. He was fast in practice. Also, I saw Hillman, Dodson, and Sean Walton practicing today, and those guys were just smashing each other, Zach. Like, no concern about how hard when they were doing those bump drafts. It looked like smash drafts to me. Steve Lewis is going to start on 8 on the outside of row 4 with Hillman. And row 5, we're going to see Joe Volpus and David Cook. Welcome back, Joe Volpus. You know, Joe, he was an early playoff contender here on our Monday Mayhem series, and then conflicts with work and conflicts with the wall of many tracks led to some frustration. Joe took a little break, but it's good to see Joe back out there today. He is running in that Louis approves of this candidate, '07 Kamala Harris Ford. So going to be interesting to see exactly what he can do. The drivers are gridded up, and we're about ready to start these guys off.
Yep, looks like, wow, I thought we would only have about 16, but it looks like it rounded out to over 20, Mean Gene, so that is amazing. Super excited about the size of this field. Everybody's here who needs to be, so this is going to be an awesome, awesome race. And yeah, we got so much to cover here. I'm so curious about all these guys saying that I want to go wide open right to start it. So that tells me, Mean Gene, we might see some guys use that third line early. It's a lot easier to go 3 wide at Talladega than it is at Daytona.
I think you're right. Here, I got a buddy here with me.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
That's right. It is, gentlemen, start your engines. Thank you, President Trump. And now we see him rolling around. There's a close-up. You can see the '07 Louis approves of this candidate Ford. That's Joe Vulpes right there. Vulpes starting in 9th place. We're excited to see him back out here. Also, Joe said he named the front bumper of his car Monday. Not sure what that means, but he said he'd see some boys on Monday. And there's Louis on the outside. He is right next to that car and candidate of which he approves. Going to be some strong racing here today. How about Tony Iverson? This guy's locked into the playoffs, chooses to forego qualifying today, Zach. What do you think the story is on that one?
Yeah, it looks like Iverson got here pretty recently too, but Iverson going with the Zach strategy. Hank and Cook as well, 2 of our front runners, choosing to hang on the back. And yeah, I mean, that's what I normally do. I like to hang on the back for the first about quarter to half of a race, get the feel for the field itself, the vibe of how everyone's racing, and then kind of make a plan, and also try to control my race, have that faster pair in my pocket late in the race, just in case stuff hits the fan late for me. But hey, a lot of guys like approaching this race a lot of different ways, and that's what makes Talladega so much fun as we line up to go green at one of the most wild racetracks ever, Mean Gene. I'm so pumped right now.
Yeah, I am too. Justin Parham on that pole. Cannot wait to see exactly what he's going to do with this opportunity that he has right now. Another car I want to keep an eye on is that number 3 Pride Goodwrench Chevrolet of Sean Walton. He's running back there with that Pride scheme. Good for you, buddy. You know, it's always good to see guys bringing out their inner self. Okay, the pace car is getting ready to pull off the track. Justin Parham, he is going to be your control car. He is on the inside. You can see Michael Mata is on the outside in that 16 Wendy's Spicy Chicken car coming around. And those are my seats right there over the OV Hill North Tower. We're in the Geico restart zone, and away they go. Justin Parham is going to lead him into turn 1. Look at that push he's getting from Buddy Solly. Matt Tucker 3000 up underneath. There's a gap between Mata Owens and Bobby Dodson on that outside. I think that inside lane is going to get the initial run. These guys are hauling 3 wide already. Duvall finds himself on the outside. Nobody going with him, so he's just going to fade straight backwards, Zach. Outside lane finally starting to make a play, and they're still side by side halfway through this 2.6 mile track. They're wide open racing here at Talladega.
That gap from where Duvall was is going to create a huge run for Steve Lewis here. Duvall went 3 wide immediately. Is there 3 wide again right away? Oh my goodness, this is crazy. No waiting around at all. But yeah, Jax Duvall went 3 wide before the start-finish line. I mean, these guys are looking to be aggressive right away. No one followed him, but you guys, you can tell people are not afraid to go 3 wide. We are 1 lap in. We've already had 2 3 wide situations. Our pole sitter is no longer in the top 5. Oh my goodness, a lot happened there.
Hey, look at that. Michael Mata, Bobby Dodson, that MC team. Ooh, the 66 of Tucker comes up high on the 2 of Jay Stinson, almost a wreck. 3 wide. Owens lets off and lets Tucker in, but they're still 3 wide. Deep back, you can see Andrew Bolander, Sean Walton on the outside getting into Jay Stinson. Matt Fritz is on the middle right there, so that has got to be hair-raising for him. Right now, though, up front, we can see MC Motorsports, Michael Mata, Bobby Dodson, 1-2.
Oh,
they're going to get split and go 3 wide. The 16 goes high to open it up. Louis stuck down in that middle. What a move there by, who is that? That's Jay Stinson.
That's Stinson.
In that 2. How did he do that?
He started that lap in 8th place, Mean Gene. This is absolute insanity. I cannot believe they all made it through that. Clearly, Matt Tucker not here to make any friends. Those were some ultra aggressive moves as we are 3 wide, 4 rows back with the leader trying to control as many lanes as he possibly can. David Owens wants nothing to do with this as he pokes out of it. I don't blame him at all. This is absolute insanity. I can't believe they've kept it straight for this long as now the top lane pokes out in front. So we have a new leader again. I believe we're going to have 3 laps, 3 leaders, Mean Gene.
This is some insane racing. Something I want to point out is some excellent driving there by the 904 of Alex Hillman. He was 3 wide. They were 3 deep. He was the second car on that inside lane, and he let off just enough to not touch that left rear bumper of the car in front of him in that turn. You know what happens when you hit the side of a bumper going through a turn at a super speedway, and he let off. Great driving by Hillman. Right now, though, still 3 wide. Look at Louie and Bobby Dodson making it happen in that middle. Parham is going to come up. Our leader, Parham, starts first. Now he's 12th. The guy that was 8th in a half a lap became first, but now the 8 of Andrew Bolander with the Pride 3 of Walton pushing him as their new leader.
And I don't think Walton qualified. I think Walton started in the rear, and we're on lap 4, and he's in 2nd place. And yeah, Bolander started pretty far back in the field as well. This is crazy. The amount of moving and coming and going there's already been. He's up 19 spots, Mean Gene. That is so insane. I cannot believe what we're seeing here. I cannot believe the level of intensity as we cross the line for lap 5. It took this long for someone to lead 2 laps. And yeah, we're seeing a lot of really, really aggressive moves as that inside line is seeming to have a hard time now shaping up. But look at Michael Mata trying to already make it 3 wide, kind of far back in the field. I don't know how much progress that's going to make, but it doesn't seem like a ton of people want to be on the inside right now. We'll have to see how that works as all the pushes are sketchy.
I mean, if you let off the throttle at all, you're going to lose 8 positions. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all to see Walton get up in front right there. You know, Walton in that Pride car, he's no stranger to things that happen in the rear. So he's got a lot of experience, and he made his way right through that pack to find himself in number 2. These guys are pushing hard right now. Andrew Bolander, he is a Wednesday veteran. He's in the playoffs there, and he is back up in front. And how about Parham? He was all the way back to 12th, and now he's pushing on the outside in the top 3.
We're just making up lanes that don't even exist. Parham just went to the top. There was no one there. That's going to end up putting, I believe that's Tucker in the middle there. And wow, Lewis leading the inside. Parham now going to go to the middle. It looks like he's probably trying to shoot to the bottom is my guess here. Parham being ultra aggressive. Wow, he got a great run there. He has that top lane working for him really, really well. Parham wanting to go back up to where I'm sure he feels like he belongs. Our pole sitter now getting back up to the front. That is crazy. He had just essentially the whole cycle of the field, and then he gets left out by John Beverly as Beverly goes to the top. This is a lot.
Wow, I'm telling you what, all drivers taking an opportunity to lead. You know who's not taking an opportunity to lead, and I'm shocked, is David Cook and Tony Iverson. Those 2 guys running in the back, side by side, just chilling. 22 and 23, way back. I'm not sure what exactly they're thinking about, but they're on their own strategy right now.
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, based on them not qualifying and then them seeing the field go 3 wide immediately, they're like, yeah, you guys have fun with that. I'll see you in about 20, 25 laps. I don't think they wanted anything to do with that. And one of the risks you run is it's really easy to lose the draft of this next-gen car. So they got to be careful about that. But I think also if you're them, you're like, there's no way they're lapping us before they wreck. And I would be inclined to agree because every single lap I'm seeing something that I cannot believe they're making it through.
Oh, I saw a little bitty blink there of one of those front cars as well. Not what you want to add to this equation, but we're still running strong. Looks like it's still 3 wide. That's going to let that outside lane of 6 cars really get that run. Looks like that outside lane is the way to go right now, Zach.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. It seems like where everyone wants to be, and I'm also not really seeing any. Maybe I'm missing it because it's just been so hectic, but I'm not feeling like I'm seeing a ton of teams working together yet. It's kind of seems like it's every man for himself right now. A lot of bailing on each other, not teams bailing on each other, but drivers bailing on each other. A lot of non-committal to lines, and a lot of, like I've said a million times, intensity and aggressiveness, not wanting to settle for the place that you're at. Oh my gosh, as Parham and the 12 get into a Hunter Hall, this is just everywhere you look, something's going on. And again, nobody has any patience right now.
No. And you could see right there when he had that hiccup, Stinson went right below Hunter Hall and also passed him. That 21 finally recovering. You know, we're talking about teams, though, and I did see Bobby Dodson and Michael Mata have managed to find each other again. But when they were running at the front, as soon as the position became at risk, we saw Mata cut up high to block traffic and leave Bobby Dodson behind. So you're right. At this stage, there are no teammates, there are no friends. It's just a matter of, can I survive? Do I need to use that caution? And how long can I go? Remember,
there goes Walton to the lead.
Oh, and there he is. Sean Walton, Womp Womp, finally going to take the lead. But look underneath that 904 of Hillman. He'd love to take that lead. I think he's going to do it. Walton's going to have that momentum on the outside. But now that inside lane is really starting to form up. And that middle lane has just enough of a side draft to slow down that outside car of Walton. It looks like Hillman is going to take that lap right there. So Walton's so close to leading at that start finish, but it's going to be that 904 of Hillman that's going to get that one extra point. Good racing here as they're finally trying to go side by side, but that middle lane still MC Motorsport, Bobby Dodson and Michael Mata, up and down, up and down. They'll find themselves up into the third row, but now look at them getting pushed all the way back. Maybe Steve Lewis will fall in with them, but those guys got to fall in line. That middle's just not working right now.
No, it is not, and you can tell Novella losing interest in being part of this group. So even though it's not 3 wide, still not loving the vibe of it is Matt Novella. And I can understand why. As you can see, Stinson there almost getting the wall. They're 3 wide again, and just a lot of disorganization. 2 cars that are hooked up on the inside line. There are new teammates driving for Daily Drivers Inc. That's Hunter Hall and Alex Hillman. Hillman's someone I told you guys to look out for. A great super speedway racer, but Sean Walton getting that lap. And you mentioned some crash pushes that you saw in practice. That's essentially what I saw Bolander give Walton to push him out to the lead a lap ago. That was a hell of a push, and Walton ate it all up. But man, these guys already as well. Sometimes you kind of save those massive pushes for later in the race, but nope, not today.
Those are the 3 right there. Those top 3 drivers crashing into each other. Bolander, Tucker, and Walton. That's Checkers or Wreckers team today. And I was watching those guys just smash each other. Look at Tucker again, very aggressive. And here comes Bolander, and watch how hard he'll probably strike. Ooh, Parham doing a little side drafting to not allow that to happen. Stinson and Beverly, whoa, very tight. Beverly riding that raw. But right now, those 3 guys in the front, that's your Checkers or Wreckers team. And I saw them practicing really hard. Matthew Fritz got caught up in that middle a moment ago. What a move. Bobby Dodson cuts down under Stinson, past Bolander, trying to get side by side with Tucker. He needs some help, and the 904 of Hillman. And here comes Hunter Hall, says, I'll help you, buddy. And that's Steve Lewis. He's the 4th car on that inside. Good to see Louie back out here as well. Great racing right now, Zach. This is some wild stuff.
Yeah, it is. And that was a wild accordion effect we just saw on the top. It just goes to show how big the runs are. But wow, look at that little bumper link right there between Dodson and Tucker, as they are, Dodson and Hillman running that Formula paint scheme from Max Verstappen, looks like, as he gave him a enormous push through that corner, pushed out Dodson to the lead, and last year's winner, Bryson Dodson, going to lead this lap, as you have Tucker and Waltman doing around the same thing on the top. A lot of these drivers starting to do that type of tandem drafting action, where they really link bumpers and push each other and try to just kind of sync up their steering, and it's seeming to work for them, as we're trying to get this middle lane working a little bit, but no one really seemed to want to help out Parham and Stinson too much there in the middle, as the outside and the inside working hard against each other. Let's see the run the outside gets here. I'm curious about this, Mean Gene.
You know, all these guys know where they are in points. Justin Parham being at the bottom of that elimination cut. I think people know that, and if they can leave him out to dry, they're going to do it. Oh, look at the rainbow. Oh, my, the Pride car almost got into it. Louis lets off. Good driving, good awareness right there by Steve Lewis to get out of that foolishness. Middle lane trying to form up again, but right now, how about that front 4? Bobby Dodson is leading him. He's got Hillman right behind him, Hunter Hall, and Michael Mata's made his way up there. And hey, look at 5th place. That's Steve Lewis. So 3 by 3 after that. Golly gee. David Owens looks like he's the last car in this lead group right now. You don't want to get out of that draft. So top 17 cars are still in this lead group.
Mata shoots to the top, and that was a great move by Lewis. That could have been bad, but wow, Mata just shot to the top, wants to lead that outside lane, and really just killed their run. I'm not sure if that was intentional and wanting to keep the inside dominant, or if he thought that would work so he can lead that. No, he just wants to lead the outside as he makes a late block. Waldman wants none of it. Four wide alert. Oh my goodness. What will happen here?
Caution.
Oh no, come on. That's unfortunate, Mean Gene. That's all kinds of unfortunate. What happened? Brennan Graham.
Yeah, the 57, Brandon Guerin, it looks
Guerin.
like was involved in something.
Let's see here. Yeah, it looks like, I mean, if he had stopped on the track, I think, oh, wow, no. So it looks like a little group of 3 here. Oh, a blink out there. That may have caused an issue. And that's the 57 in front of him. And looks like this might just be a push gone wrong from Jax Laval, I'm assuming. Let's see what goes wrong here. No. Oh, it's going to be right here. Nope. Oh, just... That happens sometimes in those small groups. You're pushing so hard. You're trying to make up time. You know, those bigger packs are going faster than you typically. So you really got to push hard. And we saw it happen, like, what, last year with the Toyota cars. So that's going to be our first caution in the race, Mean Gene. Just under... a good amount under halfway through the stage. But wow, that was an intense one. I'm assuming we're going to see some people potentially take some tires, maybe some fuel, make sure they can make it to the rest of the stage. I think this would be a great time to do that.
That was painful. I'll tell you what, Brandon Guerin, 38th birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to Brandon. I do not think getting spun was on his bingo card, but that seems to be what he's going to get for his birthday today. Luckily, MRL also gave him a fast repair for his birthday, so all the drivers with the fast repair, I'm sure Guerin is going to use it at this point. And as you said, pit row is busy. Look at all those cars. You can see Justin Parham up in the front. He's got that top spot, but it looks like Bobby Dodson is going to come out of there relatively quickly. There's the 16 Amada. Parham coming out quickly as well. Jay Stinson, lots of cars making use of this opportunity. We're going to see where they are once they get cycled around. Big track, big decisions, big crashes right now so far. Lap 16 of 75, but we're racing to that halfway point, and that'll be, what, 38? 37.
This. My math was so embarrassing last week. I'm not even going to try this week. I think 30, the end of 37, but don't quote me on that. I don't know what 2 + 2 is.
Well, I'm lucky. I've got my shoes off and I got my cat sitting right here, so I can count all the way up to 40.
Oh, so you're set. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
So we're good for this race, especially. But yeah, interesting with this, or something to point out. I don't think tires will be very important today. You're not going to see drivers very worried about them. The only front runners that took tires there were Tucker, Hillman, and Hunter Hall. It looks like actually Waldman and Fritz did as well. I'm sorry. But the majority of the field, the vast majority of the field, only wanting fuel to get themselves to the end of the stage and also protect that track position the best they can. While we have time, and who knows if we'll get another caution, Kevin, let's pull up our stats from last season, because what we saw just now was a lot like what we saw last season. Brayson Dodson, as we mentioned, our defending winner. Stage winner was David Owens that day, who also did lead the most laps, and our very own producer, and clearly just the god of qualifying as for Speedway is Kevin Kyle.
Kevin, you were faster. You were faster than Parham did today. So
nice.
Yeah, you still would have been the pole winner with that time.
So Kevin's still sitting on that pole. I mean, there's one thing we know about Kevin. He knows how to sit on poles. So not surprising at all that he still controls that pole. But when we look at the leaders, 12 out of 14 drivers who raced that day led the race. And then there were 32 lead changes. And the way that they calculate that, I believe, is just the leader at the end of the lap. So it's probably way higher than that. But 32 different people, or led laps, not different people throughout the race, 32 different times. I don't know how to explain that, Gene, honestly, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, when they cross the start-finish line, that's when it counts.
Yeah, exactly.
All that other foolishness doesn't really matter. You can swap for position everywhere else. I mean, heck, that's the only time I lead laps is when it doesn't count. So I'm fully familiar.
So what that 32 shows you is that really no one controlled the race, like just constant coming and going from the whole field. So that's kind of what we expected, and also not a ton of cautions. Only 4 for Talladega. That's not bad at all. That race was actually a little bit longer last year as well. So, yeah, this is nothing out of the ordinary for MRL at Super Speedways. This league knows how to put on a show here. They know how to do it respectfully.
Yeah, lots of people getting back on the lead lap right there. Jack Sanders was a lap down. I think he's speeding around right now, perhaps, as he was the lucky dog. Brandon Guerin, he was victimized in that as well. So we're going to see okay, there we go. Now they are being shown one lap down. So both those drivers still one lap down, 2 cars off the lead lap, 21 cars on the lead lap. Let's see what happens with Novella, though, being shown way behind.
Yeah, assuming that's a top off, a lot of guys want to make sure they have that extra bit of fuel. Last Thursday, we had a similar situation, and people were running out of fuel at the end of the stage or under caution, in the stage caution. So don't want to put yourself in a situation like that. We won't get the stage caution, but you don't want to run out of fuel right before the stage ends. So, and oftentimes we will get that caution around the stage break because that's when people get super aggressive because everyone's going to want that stage win. So it's going to be interesting, Mean Gene. I'm expecting a lot more 3-wide action here.
Oh, for sure. And we did see a 4-wide just for a little heartbeat, didn't we?
Oh, we did. And that's the second we got the caution. So let's get more of that, please.
Yes, please. All right, so we are back on the grid. The pace car out of the way. Control car is going to be Michael Mata.
And look at all those single file cars, Mean Gene. That means all those guys topped off, took extra fuel. Very interesting.
And we are going green again. We are live here at Talladega. On the outside, you can see the speed of Mata as he is pulling away. He's got Steve Lewis giving him a great push. Parham on the inside needs to get that inside look working, but that outside lane, 4 deep, pushing hard, and you can see some of that crash bump drafting by that 28, and now the 84 and the 28 take that opportunity to go down into that bottom lane. Strong racing here early on this restart, lap 17.
Jax the Ball was not deterred by that first try on that 3-wide in the first lap. Tried it again, and it worked out beautifully that time. Put Hunter Hall and Alex Lemon in a bad situation, and was able to drive away from them as now he is pushing Steve Lewis on the inside line as you have Michael Mata down center.
4 wide.
4 wide, there it is again.
Walton makes it 4 wide. Oh, and
wow.
Look, that is the wrong way. That 12 car going backwards. Got to keep it straight. I'm terrified right now. Louis is up in the front, and he's got Florida Man pushing him on every wrong side of that bumper. And the 28 of Austin Merrow, who feels like he's got to win as well. Bobby Dodson, here comes his teammate 16, and the 66 of Matt Tucker, 3 cars on the outside, trying to catch the 3 on the inside. Let's see who can hold that line the best. And Matt Fritz making his way back up into that top 5. Look at that outside lane go.
Yeah, man, this is absolute insanity. Here we go again as Dodson to the lead. Him and Mata just working so well together, just like they did at Daytona. Nothing out of the ordinary for those two, and man, they're able to get to the front in a hurry. But yeah, those pushes, you're not kidding. The pushes that Jax is giving to Steve Lewis are aggressive, but they're working. It's keeping them up front on that inside lane, and they're keeping them in front of the Mayhem behind them as they're 3 wide again. And yeah, we saw the 4 wide. That was amazing, and here we go.
Oh, and Louis gets abandoned. Duval abandons Louis, and now they're getting eaten up. They're going the wrong way. Louis falls in behind the 16 of Mata. The Duval falls in behind the 32. That was great driving by all those guys to keep us from having an incident. I think Louis just had enough of that Keselowski pushing that Duval was giving him. I mean, it looks good on paper, but when you're taking it in the rear like that, very few drivers can keep it on a straight line. Speaking of, though, Walton on the outside is keeping it straight. Yeah, this is just absolute craziness. He may have just been fed up with that and said, I'll just wait for later to have to take pushes like that. But wow, they all did a great job keeping it straight. That was a huge side swipe between Lewis and Mata there as well. I cannot believe that Louis was able to keep it going straight. So great job by him. Great job by Mata. As Mata's going to split the middle, try to get to Dodson, the other guy. And oh my gosh, Stinson throws him low. Look at Mata. This is crazy. They're 4 wide again. I've never seen so much 4 wide at Talladega in sim racing ever. How are they not wrecking? I don't get it. And here comes Fritz to force the issue 4 wide. How about that, Matthew Fritz? That was an awesome move. And then he's going to get in front of them. Oh my gosh. This is some awesome moves. They're just making up lanes as they go. It barely even feels like there's a top, middle, and bottom. They just go where they feel like it. Now, I was at Talladega this year, and there was a lot of talk about saving fuel. And those guys were running 4 wide, but they were also running about 9-10 miles an hour slower than wide open. So a lot of drivers said it felt like parade laps. They had to do that, though, to stay on that fuel strategy, or they would have fallen behind. There's no parade lap here today. This is wide open, smash drafting, 3 wide, create your own lane. Right here, look at this action. The 12 just falling backwards again. Yeah. And hey, look, there's Cook and Iverson finally making their presence known in that lead group. Good to see them up there. It might be time for them to make that push, because you do not want to fall out of a draft with these next-gen cars.
Huge moves up front, as well as Duvall. It just made a massive move to the inside, and so did the 3 of Walton. Walton just made a crazy aggressive move about a turn ago to get to the bottom, and now Jax leading the inside line. It's been just as crazy up front as it has been in the middle of the pack. I have my blimp view open right now, and I see 3 wide, like in 2 different sections of the track. I don't even know what to cover. There's just absolute insanity going on everywhere right now, but what a job by Duvall to control the front of the field. And Sean Walton really too has done a great job of being up front all day. Now has Tucker pushing him, and those two have not been afraid to be aggressive and to just give each other the hardest push as possible, and that's how you get those big leads there.
Yeah, remember Duvall, who's come charging right now on that inside lane. He won at Charlotte, so he's used to going fast and winning. Oh, and a hard push right there, 84, not afraid to put his nose under there. And Walton getting abused a little bit as Parham and Stinson push right on by. Duvall on that inside still has Bobby Dodson with him, but that outside lane making it work. Walton needs to fall into that inside lane. That middle lane is just not working at the moment. So I say it doesn't work, and then 2 laps later, Zach, we see the middle lane push right up through into the front. So like you said, nobody's having any designated lanes. This is just called don't wreck.
Yeah, Walton kind of inexplicably went to the bottom there. He had it going really, really well with Tucker on the top, bailed on him, and then kind of blocked the inside lane, and then made a late commitment to reblock it, which then just completely killed his run and sent him all the way back to around 8th.
Walton comes down hard on the 8 there. That was, and now the 8's like, hey, we practiced, but we didn't practice side drafting.
Walton's just throwing some unbelievably late blocks, and you can only get away with that so many times.
That's his buddy, though, the 8.
Oh, then he probably did say let him in, but wow, that was close, and he did a similar move that got him back there with Tucker. And him and Tucker have been working really well together today, so that kind of surprised me. But I mean, I guess if you're Sean Walton, you know that you're gonna have no trouble getting back up front, so why not try those things?
Yeah, he's got that car on a rail right now. Some drivers just excel at super speedway. Sean Walton definitely proving that he's one of those guys today. We saw Walton almost win at the Roval a few weeks ago as well. The car just kind of got out from under him. He took two tires on the right, not on the left. I think that threw the balance off, messed his braking up, and he ended up wrecking. So Walton, he's a guy that will lead. He's a guy that will take chances, and he's a guy that will find his way back up to the front again before this thing is over. In fact, I think that might be right now. As you can see, Checkers or Wreckers getting back together. Oh, Fritz comes in. He says, I'm going to break this party up. He looked like he came in to play craps and threw a snake eyes, splitting those guys apart.
Yeah, not sure if Walton got a push he didn't like there, or if he was bailing on his teammate. Assuming he just got a push that may have sent him loose, sent him up a lane, and now here he is linked up with Tucker again, and I'm sure they're just going to drive right to the front. This is deja vu from a couple laps ago. We'll see what Walton decides to do here, as Jax Duvall does not seem like he's in a rush to block the lines right now too much. He's doing a great job on the bottom, controlling the pace, and he has Dodson behind him. Oh my goodness, a little bit of contact there. That was a close one.
Wow.
Oh, Novella and Bolander. I'm sorry, Novella and that's not Bolander. That is the 28. Below the apron there of Mero, both keeping it straight, but that was a close one, making this pack even smaller though.
Yeah, they're going to be careful. I was about to say that we had 13 cars in that lead group, and then we had 6 in that next group. I think those 2 guys, though, might be in danger of losing this lead pack right now. 27 laps completed. We're racing to lap 37, so 10 more until that 1 point will be awarded that 1 point so important to these playoff drivers, especially somebody like a Justin Parham currently finds himself up in third place. He already took the pole. That's 1 point to close that gap to make it to the next round. And Parham with a strong move. He needs some help on that bottom, and he might just find his way back into the front. But that number 8 not going to give him the help. The 8 instead chooses to fade back in that middle line to find his buddy. Oh my, Sean Walton gave that 8 a hard push. And look at the outside. It's checkers or records again with Tucker, Bolander, and Walton. Those guys just keep finding each other.
They really do. They've done a great job together. Now, yeah, Parham to the lead with Jax pushing him, Dodson behind him, and then Hillman. And it looks like they're going to try to form up an outside line here and get some momentum to fight this inside lane. Because, yeah, not a ton of help anymore. This field getting really spread out. 4 seconds back to the group of David Cook, Novella, Mero, and then another 5 seconds from there, you'll find Iverson, Owens, Volpis, and Mata and all them. So a lot of different packs here, but this one definitely the most intense, and these guys kind of have to make their moves work or count now, because they don't have the same help they used to in a bigger pack. As there they go, a strong move to the outside as we're 3 wide. Looks like Dodson's going to get some help from Fritz. Here we go.
Yeah, that outside lane, those 3 guys. And poor Bobby Dodson, he needs help. Jonathan Casabir not making the race tonight. And Michael Mata way back in that second group. So he is alone looking for friends. Right now, Matthew Fritz, closest thing he's got to it. But those checkers or records, guys, just blasting away. Right now, the look at that move. Parham would love to take the lead. And Duval, he's going to go with him. I wonder if the rest of the field has figured out exactly what kind of deal that the 8, the 66, and the 3 have worked out, because those guys are just blazing a trail. And once again, there's the 8 in the lead, and he is bringing Matt Tucker 3000 with him. Those guys dialed in. They were here early for practice. And I think it's just paying off. And look at Parham just kind of fall to the wayside. Ooh, he better get back up in that draft.
Yeah, big moment from Parham and Duval about a lap ago. About a turn ago. Duval had to go below the apron to gather back up. That was a big moment. And now we just find a 2-car breakaway with a pack of 4 cars behind them. We are at we're getting to some vintage super speedway racing style over here. You don't often see this with the field this spread out at a super speedway. This is kind of bizarre.
Yeah, you want to see spread out. Look back at Iverson. If you go back and look at Iverson, he is leading a single file line that's longer than the train when I'm trying to get to work stuck at the crossroads. This thing is huge, and they're going to have a ton of momentum. It almost looks like the Chevy Toyota line at Talladega trying to catch up to all the Fords.
Yeah, they are running considerably faster laps than the cars up front. Even then, when the pack was formed up, they were running faster than them then. So this is going to be very, very interesting to see if they can catch them. I've done something like this at a super speedway before, especially with the lead pack getting kind of separated like this. A pack like that, if they can keep it all together, should be able to gather up a lot of speed and blow right past any smaller pack. And that may happen sooner rather than later. But right behind our 2 leaders, that pack is getting bigger again. And that group of Iverson looks like they'll be catching the pack behind our leaders in no time. Yeah, look at this, Mean Gene. They are going to catch them this lap. Look how fast this happens. And some cars like Steve Lewis already going to the top, seeing what we're seeing, wanting to be a part of this. Let's see if they go to the top here. If they stay on the bottom, I think they're going to take them 3 wide.
This is how you get wrecked. This is how you get wrecked. You go on and go up and block like that. Look at Walton. Walton up there blocking. Jay Stinson into the back of him. Hillman. Louis gets SOL. He gets pushed out of the way by Iverson. Here comes the 11 of Owens. Louis going to give Owens a lot of space right there. He doesn't want to get involved with the playoff drivers. Good driving by Lewis. He sees the 16 of Mata cut in, and then Louis falls in behind after that. Good awareness right there by the 88. Oh, and a little touchy.
Yeah, Tucker got absolutely demolished by Walton, but they were able to keep it straight. But it's just a massive push, just a huge difference in speed due to the field catching them. And these guys have caught our leaders, and our field has formed back up. That was wild to see. Look how massive this field is again, Mean Gene.
18 cars in this team of a big old pack trying to figure out who's going to have the big head of steam and get that lead. And guess who's in the lead? It's Matthew Fritz. That's right. The 48 Chevrolet has found his way into the lead. He's got Parham pushing him. Bolander and Dodson, 4 Chevys running up front right now. But those Fords are going to try to chase him down. I see cars going down below the apron. Not sure if that's because they're afraid or maybe, little blinky poo. Walton doing a little swerve. Stinson avoids him. Hillman on the outside with him as well. 3 wide again at Talladega. Lap 33. We've got 4 to go until we award 1 point. Golly, Zach, these guys got no fear.
Here comes Tony Iverson out of nowhere, straight to the front. David Owens as well, trying to cash in that stage point. Like you said, we only have about 4 to go until that stage is over, as we're going to go 3 wide here with Iverson leading the bottom. Dodson in the middle, 4 wide. Oh my goodness, here we go. No one willing to wait. Everyone wants that stage point. This is going to stall up that field here if they can even get through this through this track. Oh my gosh, and Fritz, who was just leading, now finding himself all the way back there. It's just so crazy how fast that can happen. As Iverson and Fritz and Owens here will try to regroup and make their way to the front on the inside, as I'm sure they'll get blocked every step of the way, as Waltman already making it 3 wide. This is absolutely insane. I can't believe that these guys have kept it straight for this long. And look at the damage in the front of a few of these cars. Like I said, Waltman giving a massive push earlier. I believe that may have damaged his car a little bit, as here comes another one. It's going to be a big push.
Bam! Tucker.
Right in the middle of the
Parham took the short end of that stick as he falls way off the pace after getting hammered in there. And I got to tell you, Sean Walton, he's got to have taken some damage, but Parham falls about 10 car lengths back after that, maybe 6 car lengths. And now Tucker and Walton pushing Bobby Dodson in that middle with them. Inside lane, you got the 48 of Fritz, you got Iverson and David Owens, and here comes Matt Novella to make it 4 on the inside, 3, 4 in the middle, and 4 on the outside. 3 wide racing here, coming down to see who's going to get this point.
Fritz did a great job regaining that momentum, getting back up to the front. But Walton has been working so well today with Tucker. They have really been able to control it, as now Walton controlling the outside line, getting that push from Dodson. Dodson's been so strong all day today. This will be very, very interesting, as you see Tucker wanting to control the inside in front of Fritz, really wanting to control both lanes. This has been the root of a lot of close calls today. It's tough to do that, as you see how it kind of kills momentum as we go down the backstretch here. And there goes Iverson and Owens to the outside of Fritz to create a middle line. Here we go, 3 wide.
Really hard pushes there. These guys, these cars cannot last this long taking this kind of damage. I would assume at some point the arrow is just going to kick in and you're really going to suffer. And these other guys that have been very cautious, the Tony Iversons, the David Cooks, if they can avoid that damage and then find themselves in those lead lap cars, at the end of this race, we just might see that arrow take over. Lap 36, 1 more to award that 1 point. We'll see if it's a championship driver. Right now, Tony Iverson and Sean Walton side by side, Stinson, Owens, and then the outside, you can see Hillman, Bobby Dodson. So lots of 3 wide racing as we're going to try to figure this thing out. Whoever crosses right here is going to get that point. Iverson, he's already into the next round. Tucker, not eligible. So this point is just going to be for fun, Zach.
Yeah, look for Owens to be aggressive here. He, more than anybody, needs that stage point. That would really make a big difference for him. As you can see, he's trying to poke to the outside, can't really find much. Doesn't look like it might not materialize. I mean, again, that start-finish line, not till the end of the... and Iverson gets turned around. Owens around. Owens going to save it. That might not bring out a caution. It won't, but that's going to bring Owens all the way to the back of the field. It's like Walton is probably going to win the stage. But that is so bad for David Owens, who, like we said, needs to have a solid day, and that is quite the opposite. It'll be interesting to see how far back in the field that put him, if he can still keep the draft. We did not have a caution for that, and we don't have a caution for the stage break. Oh, that's big.
Yeah, that was definitely, you could just see Owens made contact. He had Fritz behind him, just smash right in there. Really hard contact.
Wow, that is so rough. Owens all by himself without a draft. If we stay green for about 15 more laps, B&G, and that will likely cost them a lap. That could be race ruining for him, but that's a big if, as the action up front. That only took out 2 cars at his, actually only 1. Iverson still finding himself in the inside there, only 4 back. So this pack still big, still aggressive, still going for it.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at that replay. It looks like he and Iverson just had a much greater speed than Walton, and then Iverson let off a little bit, drifted up the track just a tad, and then you could see David Owens hit that left rear bumper of Iverson, and it was just over. Really good job of Iverson to keep that thing going straight, and also for Iverson to be able to stay in that main group of drivers. But unfortunately, you did see Owens fall off the pace. And we are still racing here. Lap 39 makes you wonder. They got about 24 laps of fuel on these cars right now. When might they start think about coming in for that second pit stop?
The fact that a lot of them wanted to top off to make sure they'd make the stage tells me pretty soon. Man, that was such a massive push from Mata onto Fritz in that last turn. It sent him all the way down a lane as we're 4 wide again. I don't know how much longer these guys can get away with this. This is just so impressive, but scary at the same time. And maybe the lack of field is making these guys a little bit more aggressive because they're like, I got to pit soon anyway, so let's get a caution out here, make it more simple. It's scary pitting under green at tracks like this. But I would assume it's going to happen soon, and man, it would make a lot more simple if we get that caution. These guys they're tempting it.
Yep, 18 cars still running in that lead group, even though it is spread apart pretty much. Michael Mata is your leader, and hey, how about Richard Swingle making his way up there? Now we can see that 97 has become part of the battle as well. Bobby Dodson, Sean Walton still fighting. So we're starting to see fewer and fewer of different names falling away and those same names staying there, except for Richard Swingle. And no sooner is he in second than he fades back into 10th as this constant switching of position is just continuing to throw curveballs at all these drivers.
Yeah, no position is safe. You can be in the lead in one lap and outside the top 10 the next. It's crazy how quickly it happens here, and it really just is just every man for himself. So that's really how it's happening. People are constantly getting bailed on. You'll work with someone so well for 5 laps to get to the front, and then they'll bail on you the second you get up there. Not something you see super often, but hey, I mean, I get it. This is league racing. This is a cutoff race. So you got to do what you got to do. It's going to be even crazier as we get closer to the end of this race. But yeah, I'm surprised that we haven't seen anyone pit yet. And I kind of also understand you don't want to lose the draft. You don't want to lose the pack. So you really don't want to pit until you see a larger group pit so you can pit with them and make sure you come out with the group like that. And also, me and Gene, will be very interesting to see if anyone wants to take tires now after about 42 laps on most of these sets of tires. It will make that pit exit really, really difficult on old tires, but it also takes up quite a bit of time in the pits.
Yeah, so drivers of interest as well. Mason Smalley, who was 10th in points, I do not see him in the field, so that is going to be a guy that is not going to make it. Apparently, Mason Smalley fell injured to an injury in a basketball game, so that costed him his start, and so we lose one of the M&M boys right there. Justin Parham, another guy that needs to win, currently running in 7th. Bobby Dodson, he needs to get a win or better, or a high position. He's running in 2nd. Austin Marrow, that guy needs a good finish. He's in 10th. And that is pretty much all the boys that are in that chase. David Owens, remember, just 9 points off of that line, finds himself back in 20th. Not what he needed to happen to him today in this cutoff race.
No, David Owens, really just the worst case scenario right now. It's a long race. A lot could happen. One caution could change his fate entirely. But right now, I'm sure you're stressed out. But like I said, things not over yet, and it's still crazy up front. We're still side by side for the lead as Walton wants it. He has gotten an insane run on the outside. That outside line, when it picks up a head of steam, it really can't be stopped. It's not even worth it for the inside to try to do anything about the run because it's just too large. It's been fascinating to watch. And there goes Walton again to the lead with Tucker pushing him. Those two have been just such a lethal combination today, working so well together. We'll see how long Tucker wants to stay behind him on the top before he goes to the bottom, which we've seen a lot of between those two, as Bolander first to do it there to link up with Mata and Dodson. And those two go to the bottom too, so we might end up with one long train here in the bottom.
Yeah, and that's going to be a lot of trouble. David Owens right now 30 seconds off of that pace, and he's 5 seconds behind Jax Duvall as far as finding somebody to draft with. Meanwhile, Jack Sanders and Brandon Guerin, both those guys are 1 lap down, and they're still running up there with that big lead group. So if that group catches them, I think you're going to see Guerin shoot right on, not Guerin, Sanders. Sanders could zip right on by Owens if Owens does go a lap down. So Owens could quickly find himself one lap down if he doesn't get this thing together and stick with that group once they catch him. Meanwhile, Brandon Guerin, the other one lap down driver, he's back there with John Beverly, so he's not really in a position to cost David Owens that lead lap.
And what's to make matters worse for Owens, what's also going to cost him a little bit of fuel is what saves gas in these race cars is the draft. You don't have to put in as much gas. You can kind of go partial throttle through the turns using the draft of the car in front of you. Owens can't do any of that right now with no draft help, obviously needing to go flat out to try to prolong getting lapped as long as he can. So a lot of things working against him as we go through this run longer and longer. I'm assuming they're going to pit soon. Also, Mean Gene, kind of thinking that might be why we're seeing so many drivers insistent on getting to the bottom right now, even though the top has been pretty fast as we've seen Hall and Hillman work their way to the front here. I think the reason so many drivers on the bottom is they're getting ready to pit.
Could be. There are a lot of guys that are in conversation with each other. Hillman and Hunter Hall, that's Team DDI, they're talking. MC Motorsports, Dodson and Mata, they're talking. And it's going to be Lewis, Swingle, Beverly, Jax Duval, Jack Sanders, Brandon Guerin. That is one of your larger
Here we go.
groups.
Green flag pit stops, Mean Gene. Here we go. So we got Walton, we got Tucker, we got the Ada Bullender, Dodson, Parham, and Iverson all coming in. So far, so good. Doesn't look like anyone sped. No one got into each other. That was clean. So now what we watch is who's going to take tires and who's going to take fuel. You really want to discuss this stuff with those that you're pitting with beforehand to make sure everyone's on the same page and everyone comes out together. So let's see if they did that, Mean Gene.
Well, this is especially, we're seeing STFU Racing and Checkers or Record Racing all coming in together. Looks like right sides only for Walton. So let's see if his teammates picked up that memo. Doesn't look like they did, as Walton appears to be coming out. Oh, and there's his boys.
Yep,
there's Tucker with him and Mata as well. So perhaps Mata's team of MC Motorsports might be on that same strat.
Right side's only, honestly, a great call, Mean Gene, because it gives you that little bit of grip, probably helps you with that pit exit a little bit. Also, doesn't really take any extra time than putting all the fuel in the car that you need to. I'm assuming these guys want to make it to the end of the race. It's going to be close, but I'm assuming they want to. Looks like the second group there also making it clean, so great job by everybody. That is not as easy as it looks. That is really, really difficult to bring a race car down from 200 miles per hour to 55. So great job by everybody. But yeah, I think 2 tires is a good idea. I mean, no one wants to put 75 laps on your right sides, even at a track like this. So might as well. If anything, it will cost you an extra second.
Yep, that's Noma Motorsports and STFU and R Racing in that second group coming in. So as you said, these teams communicating with each other on the radio and trying to have that same strategy, and a lot of just
Blending.
Yeah, lots of tire, just fuel and go by that second group. I guess they're willing to take that chance to close that gap.
That's a 7-second delta, Mean Gene. That is one you cannot afford to take at a track like this. You've got to just do what you're assuming everyone else does. You can't put yourself in a situation where you're fighting against a 7-second deficit for the rest of the race, hoping that other people made the same decision as you, so you have someone to even link up with in the first place, right? You got to do what you feel like other people are doing. At the very least, if you're wrong and you don't take tires and everyone else does, they got to catch up to you. So you should be okay. But as we're seeing the blend here, a lot of different, looks like packs of 3, which is really, really interesting. We're going to see them eventually form into one giant monster again, kind of like those like fake app advertisements you see. Kind of remind me of that right now. But I think that's what we're going to see happen. We're going to see these groups of 3 eventually become one big group of about 14 or 15. And we'll also have to keep our eye on David Owens and where he cycles out in this entire process.
Look at Michael Mata fade away from that lead group. That 3 turns into 2 because he fades back to get with his MC Motorsport teammate, Bobby Dodson. And now you can see Dodson and Mata hook up, and they're going to try to shut him. Big block by Tucker. That makes Dodson go down. That was very aggressive. Tucker doing that move could have been wrecked. Nate Maurer would not be impressed by that move there by Tucker 3000. And Mata is on his tail. This ought to be interesting as we see MC Motorsports get together with Checkers or Records. Let's see if that comes back to haunt somebody.
Yeah, Matt Tucker's done a lot of aggressiveness today. He's shown that he is, like I said earlier, not here to make friends. And when you're part-time, that's kind of something you can do. You're not going to have to deal with the repercussions all season like a lot of these full-timers do. So, man, again, just incredible that they kept it together. But that was a big moment there. And this is stuff that I think drivers are going to log away for later in the race, Mean Gene.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm having trouble finding the words and keeping this thing PG-13, to be honest with you. And Mata taps him hard right there.
Wow. And
Mata,
here we go.
Mata made contact right there with him, and both Mata and Tucker off speed, and that's going to allow Justin Parham and Walton to get by. Ooh, all right, so if you're Tucker, do you think, okay, he's even with me now? Or do you think, what's that guy thinking? I'm going to get even.
Oh, I'm gonna go with the latter there. Just knowing the mentality of your average race car driver. Good for us, right? Because this is gonna get more and more spicy. Because this little group of 6 right here, they are not working together. I guess we'll leave it at that, right?
Well, I think we're gonna see it because look, there's the 8, there's the 66. We're gonna see the 3 come up high and leave Parham out to dry, and then those 3 guys. Oh, a little bit of a hard hit though. You don't want to do it in the turn, boys.
These guys are at the point in the race, Mean Gene, where when these guys throw blocks, they don't care about the push that it's going to result in. They're just sending it in anyway. They're just like, all right, fine, and they just shove them as hard as they can. It's gonna not work out one day or one of these times, but it's been really fun to watch. And this group, Mean Gene, they're catching up to David Owens. He is on borrowed time now in terms of going a lap down.
Wow, lots of cue ball action right there. So Michael Mata 4th, Bobby Dodson going to bring it in. Parham's going to let it. He butterflies it a little bit. He burps it. He lets the Bobby Dodson through. And now that second group being led by, looks like Joe Volpus in that Louis approves this candidate 07 Ford. That second group is going to try to catch this little group of 6 cars. And we might get back into that big pack as you talked about earlier.
Yeah, it's going to be a matter of who's going to want to work together better and who's going to want to stay in line and just push. And it's that second group right now. They seem very, very focused. They're very organized, and they're putting down faster laps to show for it. It shouldn't be much longer. Yeah, they're putting down 48.8s, Mean Gene, and the group in front of them is in the 49s. That stacks up quick, and I don't think it'll be long until they're making a move on them, and we know what's going to happen there. A bunch of guys in this group in front of them are going to try to block that outside line, and we're about to have absolute mayhem.
No,
they would never.
What makes you think a driver was just going to cut up to the right in front of a bunch of other people when they're 10 mile an hour faster?
Yeah, that'd be insane, right? That'd be crazy.
All right, so here comes that group, and we're going to not see it happen again.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're ahead of it. They're showing them their hand right away. They're like, hey guys, we're gonna do this. Looks like Tony Iverson again gonna go with the bottom. That's actually not a bad move because now it's only a group of 2, so why not? Let's see if they split the middle or if they just join in. They're just gonna join in that bottom group, and then a group of 3 behind them that was originally part of that group, kind of hanging behind, maybe trying to get ahead of steam and make it 3 wide.
Hell, they're probably trying to avoid the foolishness. There was a lot of chatter on the radio of race chat between the 16 and a couple of those other guys in that lead group when that block by Tucker occurred. So they know what kind of fire is being burned up in that lead group. I think right now the smartest guy is Steve Lewis. He's the last car in this lead group, and he's hanging on that bottom. So when everybody smashes high, like Walton just did, Louis can go down under the apron. Louis already ready to go down below the apron. How about David Cook also making his way into this lead group? And a guy we haven't talked about a lot, Buddy Sully now, the 21. Oh, Parham gets squeezed between Mata and Dodson, and we're 3 wide again.
I am seeing a side of Michael Mata I have not seen before. He is not happy with that 66 in front of him. He is pushing him in a certain way, Mean Gene. He does not care what happens at 66. And I'm assuming that is because of
previous interactions.
Exactly. That's a collection of events that have happened throughout this race. As a series of misfortunate events is what has led to this Michael Mata turning heel on all of us in front of us. This is fun to watch.
That's right.
Oh, what a block by Mata. Oh my gosh.
And that almost caused a wreck. Walton on the outside. The 8's going to go with his buddy high. That's Justin Parham trying to make it work. Mata gets stuck in the middle. Okay, are they even now, Zach, or are we still playing games?
No, that was emotional driving from Mata. He wanted anyone but Tucker to pass him there, I think. And he just threw the block of a lifetime, and Tucker went around him, and he luckily didn't block that move. But no, I don't think we're even by any means. We will be even until one of them crosses the checkered first. That's what I think this is going to come down to. That's why we have just under 20 to go.
Emotional damage.
That's what's happening right now.
Oh, I love it. We predicted there'd be some spicy. Oh, look at Mata with a head of steam down the middle. He doesn't even need help. That's such a crazy run. Look at him. He's just a guy's move. This is like when you're playing like NASCAR Heat and you know the AI is going to move away from you. That's essentially what Mata's doing.
I got no words because it's like, is it intentional at this point? Some of these guys know they're good on points, and some of these guys don't even care. They don't need the points. It's not a Heat 5 lobby, boys. Let's keep it on the track. And poor Joe Volpus out there has been wrecked in about every Monday night race he's been in. He's finally in that lead group. Let's not flip him upside down again.
I know, and he's, guys, please just leave me alone. And here we go. Michael Mata back to the lead, or back to the front, pushing Walton. Slingshot engage. Michael Mata.
Okay, those 3 cars trying to break away right now. Look at that move. Walton, he's run up front all day. Not a surprise. He and Michael Mata, no bad blood there that I know of. Bobby Dodson and Mata are part of MC Motorsports. So those 2 guys will work, and this might be their chance. Meanwhile, behind them, they're 3 wide. It's a parade lap for that next group of cars. We'll just see how long that those lead groups can stay back, because with 9 cars chasing them, you think they'd catch 3 cars relatively quickly.
Yeah, you'd think so. Mata just delivering unbelievable pushes right now. Really, really aggressive ones. The wall and all the way around the track. Trying to stay in front of that big group, see if they can gap them. But this is not what Owens and Fritz and Volpus, just in front of these guys, wanted to see happen. That 3 wide crazy battling was good for them because it was slowing down that group. Now these guys are linked up. They're a little bit organized, and that gap is noticeably closing up. They're going to be up to Owens in no time. Again, we'll see if Owens wants to fight it. And Fritz as well. These are 2 guys battling to be in the playoffs. Really can't afford to go a lap down. That will also change the dynamic between Owens and Fritz. They'll go from working together to having to work against each other, looking for that lucky dog just in case they get that caution.
Yeah, that lead group still has a slight advantage, but I'm watching that ticker going the way you would expect, especially now that they are in that single file line. Sean Walton, though, he's not afraid to throw a block. I don't think Michael Mata will. I think after Mata sharing his displeasure at Tucker's move is not going to do the same thing himself and throw a crazy block. I think he'll just fade into traffic unless he's got Bobby Dodson pushing him really hard. But that other team, you got to be expecting to see Tucker catch that gap and bring along his buddy as well, Colin Bollinger, running in that number 8 car. So once we see those 2 guys get in there, it's going to happen. And right when I say Mata's not going to swerve up and block, there he goes. But he only went up into the middle.
Yeah, he tried to butt the middle lane, didn't get it, let them go by as Novella and Volpus just blow on by. And I'm sorry, it's going to be Duvall and Owens who will be fighting to get that lucky dog if they do get lapped here. But as we're seeing, it's about to get crazy again, which will slow down this pack a little, as Novella now shown his hand to the lead. Another one of our, I guess now part-timers, didn't make enough races to qualify for the playoffs, but out here leading a very capable super speedway driver. And again, you just feel like you've seen Dodson in the middle of all this today. He's just a couple rows back. And now for the first time today, that's David Cook in 2nd place.
Yep, David Cook making an appearance. You know, Novella, yeah, he didn't run enough races due to work conflicts, but Novella is a full-time driver in our truck series, and he does have a win this year in trucks and has won at Daytona previously. So that is a guy who is accustomed to running fast. You know, he likes to go fast, and he's doing it right now here. David Cook behind him. Cookie, he would love to push his way up 3rd in points. Remember, this is playoff racing.
And here comes the 32 and the 16 to the top. And here comes the 16 to join the party. Oh boy, the 16 and the 16. The 16 and the 66. These 2 are attached to the hip.
He's got a devil and an angel. Tucker's got a devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other.
Oh no, here we go again, Mean Gene, and he's gonna immediately take Moto 3 wide. Oh my goodness.
I thought he was gonna.
I thought he was too. I thought he was gonna send it in.
I thought it was gonna be a pit maneuver, like straight out of the Georgia State
it almost
Police.
is. This is intense. These two are just. Oh, he does spin him. He does spin him. That wasn't great. And
Wow.
that's not even a caution because it wasn't on the racing surface. Didn't love that, Mean Gene.
No.
Yep. Our producer Kevin Kyle saying that's what happens when outsiders come, and yeah, I'm inclined to agree. That's a shame that didn't bring out a caution. Damn.
I'll be right back.
Well, as Mean Gene's gonna be right back, maybe trying to do some of the race control, who knows. But wow, interesting moment in that race right there, ladies and gentlemen. We had seen that kind of boiling all race, especially the last, I don't know, 5-10 laps. That's 66 of Tucker, and the caution is out, so I am assuming that is what Mean Gene was doing. Wow, you are a superhero, aren't you, Mean Gene?
I mean, I just had to pet my cat.
Oh yeah, okay. Your cat is awesome.
Yep.
Is your cat yellow?
Meow meow. No, she's a tabby.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, we got this. Oh, there's debris on the track. I see it over in turn 2. Looks like some debris came off from one of the cars. So, unfortunate yellow there, but we're gonna have to stack it back up. That was a moment there, Mean Gene.
That was something. And, well, you know, I did hear a little bit of communication between Tucker and his crew chief when that happened. And it pretty much went something like this.
Got him!
And that's what she said as they spun him around.
Oh.
And that brings up another caution.
Wow.
Wow. And now we're going to bottle this thing up again with 12 laps to go.
Yeah, and this thing's far from over in terms of the drama and obviously the action on track. It doesn't look like MRL's going to have any disciplinary action, or at least not right now, to Tucker. I mean, there's two sides to every story. There's a lot to look at. If you can find it, Kevin, we can take a look at it if you want to see if someone came down and maybe we're skewed, as Chase Elliott would say. But he came at him like a spider monkey.
That's a fancy word, skewed.
Yeah, I learned it from our boy Chase when Denny wrecked him. Yeah, can we get the far Chase view? That's always the one that to me is the most telling, Mean Gene. So does that 16 come down or not? That's all that really matters, right? Does the CC6 go up or does the 16 come down? 16 does come down a little bit, Mean Gene. I mean, it was
Yeah,
close
there was no mercy shown.
There was not.
That's
there was
for sure.
not. I guess that's why if you're the CC6, you don't feel super bad about that.
No, you just say I'm holding my line.
Yep. So we're going to take another look at a different on-track episode here, and this will be the C6 pushing the 16 or the... Yes.
Then
Oh, the 25
Jack
to
Sanders?
16 here. Yeah, that'll be Sanders and Mata here, so we'll see. Look how fast these race cars are, Mean Gene.
yeah, it's Talladega.
Yes, sir.
It's amazing how quickly these guys go back and then they catch right up.
I will say, like, when you watch it and fast forward, it really shows to be more. So here's a different push earlier on, assuming this is probably the reason, again, why Mata was frustrated. So there's a push to the 56.
Yeah.
And that's Mata in front of him. And let's see if there's a little chain reaction. There is, and just, yeah. Those
And
are
that's the way they were, but that you know, that is the way they were practicing. I told you when I watched that practice, I mean, they were not bump drafting, they were crash drafting. Those guys were just sending the thing like they just didn't care. And that is definitely
what's rule
what
number
we're
one,
seeing.
Mean Gene? Rule number one, with super speed racing, in my opinion, don't push the pusher. And that's what people get upset about. You can crash push all you want. Don't push the pusher. If I'm pushing somebody, if I'm already linked up with somebody, nothing good can come from an aggressive push behind that. That's my 2 cents on incidents like that. Obviously, when there's less than 15 to go, all bets are kind of off, though. So What do I know, right?
That's where we are. We got 11 to go. Racing to lap 75.
That's huge for David Owens. He's gonna get his lap back. That is absolutely huge for him. Duvall as well, another car who is on the tail end of the lead lap, working with Owens, and they were able, and that chaos behind them really helped them out, helped them stay in the lead lap. So Owens not out of the fight yet. Sanders as well. Looks like he'll get his lap back. Michael Mata, what's the status on him? I'm assuming he is also in the lead. Oh, he's in 4th. He didn't pit, Mean Gene. I think some cars pit, and I don't think Mata did. Oh, no. How did Mata get to 4th? We missed something. Oh, well, we have Iverson, Tucker, Novella, Walton. Oh, so just a lot of our leaders pit. This field is upside down. Dodson to the lead, yep. Cook in 2nd, Volpus, Mata, Hillman, Hall, Lewis, and Merrow. All those cars did not pit at all. Everyone below them did. So essentially, that put our field upside down from 9th on back. So the aggression will be, as if it's even possible, even higher than it's been all race, because you're going to have guys who have not had to spend a ton of time in 10 sub positions working their way to the front, and they don't have a ton of time to do it.
And all the guys in the back are used to being in the front, and they think they deserve to be there, and they're going to just drive a hole through anybody in front of them to get there because, like our producer just said, they got a faster pair. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's such a good point by Kevin. These guys have faster pairs. The vast majority, I think all of them essentially have faster pairs besides that earlier rep from Garen. So yeah, like time to use it. These last 10 laps could take a minute.
Let's see. David Cook, last week, he stayed out with 13 to go on a restart on old tires and got 8 up, fell to 4th. Here he is again trying to make that same move. He's in 2nd. Bobby Dodson in 1st. These top 8 cars chose not to pit. The ones behind him looks like they all took 2. And we are green outside lane with a fast start. That's Bobby Dodson. He's going to bring Joe Volpus with him on the inside. David Cook, not that great of a start. Right now, it's Bobby Dodson. Let's see how many laps it takes for us to go 3 wide. It takes 1/4 of a lap.
Yep, that's it. Not a super organized start as a field. A lot. Wow, as we already see contact there. A couple rows back between Hall and Garen. That was a close call. That was very, very close. As everyone trying to find a line there. Like I said, not super organized, so not a ton of lines formed up yet. The inside, not really even to the bottom yet. This is going to get interesting.
Yeah, going to get interesting really fast. You can see Iverson on the outside behind Lewis trying to close up that second row. Mata with his buddy Bobby Dodson. Lewis is not going to do those guys any favors. He's going to make it 3 wide. Walton goes high. Walton cuts back down low. He tries to make it 4 wide, and Lewis lets off, but it's 3 wide. A lot of blinking in the back as well. Oh, boy, it is tight backed up in there.
Tucker went from 10th to 2nd place in 1 lap. So all that having to go through the field, he got done essentially immediately. That is so impressive. And look who is right behind him. Michael, big contact. And there we go. There's the big one at Talladega. I see Dodson in it. Lewis with a little bit of damage. It looks like the 3 of Walton's in that one. Oh, wow. And I believe that may have started again with the 66 and the 16, Mean Gene.
Let's take a peek. There's only one way to tell, and that's Kevin Kyle giving us the info.
Oh, it did not. I apologize. It's the 3 of Walton and Dodson. Look at the top line here. Looks like he's just going to be a little bit off center and hook him downwards, and the rest is going to be history.
Right there. That's when he touches that bumper.
Yep, and there he goes down the track. That's a scary sight for that 28.
And poor Merrow, he did not need this mess today.
That will likely do it for Merrow.
Tucker slams on the brakes. Mata slams on the brakes. Stinson on the brakes. Iverson and Lou. Look at Louie getting a stake. Good for you.
So Iverson.
Here comes Parham. Look at Parham. He's like, I don't need brakes. I'm gonna
look at Parham. Yeah, look at Parham. All right, you know what we got to do, Kevin. Let's ride on board with Justin Parham, because that's gonna be a wild ride. Yes.
Yeah, he's wide open.
Days of Thunder. Yep, and he's gonna probably keep his foot in it. Oh my.
Wow, he almost touched Beverly.
That was an awesome one. And it wasn't even over that, or really in front of him afterwards. That's a scary one. And here, this poor soul of that's Garen there is just going to get destroyed for no reason. Look at him. He's like, oh, look, I got to run. Nope. Oh, so sad. Hopefully didn't damage a wheel. Let's see afterwards how that car drives. Not straight. Or does it? No. Hopefully not too much. Kevin, can you put up the playoffs real quick? The standings. Let's take a look at that. Look at our implications. I mean, Genius, we're going to have about 5 to go when we go green. The car's hitting the pits right now to get some damage fixed. Use that fast repair.
Yeah, that was the 28 of Austin Marrow. He did not need that foolishness.
Could not afford that exactly. One of our guys right above
but
the
Bobby
cut line.
Dodson was also in that as well, the 32.
Exactly. And Parham shot through it, so huge for him. And couldn't be bigger for David Owens as he needs to pad that gap. That really is going to help him out a little bit as he finds himself in 7th place now. But that's a concerning one for Austin Marrow, and that's what I was worried about. Thanks for that, Kevin.
Yeah, Austin trending the wrong way the last couple of races. Had an incident with Jax Duvall, driver the 84, last week at Indianapolis, and then this week now becoming part of that little incident. And you know, we're talking about how hard these guys are bumping. It's the norm. It's what they've done all week. It's what they did in practice, and it's what they did in that entire first stage, is just throw caution to the wind and just smash that bumper right into the rear end of that car in front of you. And it's just a matter of timing it when you're in the right spot. You don't want to find yourself in that wrong angle, and that's just what we saw right there as Walton managed to rub him just barely the wrong way. Hey, netcode could be a part of that as well. A lot of complaints from the drivers about that netcode, and that just sends the 32 down and causes that big pile up. Lots of fast repairs being used, lots of pitting being used. How about those top guys that chose not to pit? Looks like 4 of them going to still stay out there, Zach.
Yeah, it worked out for them. Cook, Volpis, Hillman, and Hall. So 2 teammates right there. And 2 DDI teammates in 3rd and 4th. So why not stay linked up? It's a great call by them. And yeah, like you said, we've been seeing them throw caution to the wind essentially all race. Just catching up with them later in this race as there's so much less give and take, so much less patience in terms of trying to find the line, trying to get to the front. And that's when you see the incidents start to pile up. Wouldn't be surprised if we start using these overtimes. But we'll have to see. And yeah, we have a lot of guys who can lock their way into the next round of the playoffs here. And also guys like Owens who probably just want to see that checkered flag and stay where he is right now. Not trying to give the win to someone like Parham in 12th that could just lock his way in with the win.
Yeah, somebody who did not appreciate that has got to be Matthew Fritz. Looks like he's being shown in the rear of this. I'm showing him 1 lap down. Is that on your record as well?
He's been a lap down for a while. I mean, Gene, when that group of 3 of Duvall, Fritz, and Owens was working together, Fritz was a lap down then. So I'm not entirely sure when or how that happened, but Fritz lost control of this race a little while ago. He's going to need 1 more caution to get that lap back, and not just that. I think he's going to have to pass a car or 2 to make sure he has that lucky dog. So Fritz really leaning on that work he's done all season and in these playoffs to make sure he can get out of here and race in the round of 8.
Well, he's in good company back there. He's got Tony Iverson and Bobby Dodson, a couple of really fast guys. Bobby been fast here all day. Tony Iverson is our current leader. And remember, this is a playoff situation. So after this elimination round, all the points will go back. So you just need to make it through this round. And then you go back to your initial points as far as that second round of elimination goes. So that's what a lot of these guys are thinking. They're just trying to survive right now. But guys that got to be worried about this, Austin Marrow and Bobby Dodson. I can't do the math that quickly in my head, but those fellas in the back cannot be happy as they're trying to do some math.
No. I mean, just so many different stories going on, so many different priorities and different ways that people are going to approach this restart. Look for the Team DDI there in that second row to do what your boy Joey Logano calls the okie dokie, right? Where 2 teammates work together. One might do a tiny little checkup in their lane to make sure their teammate can get in front or behind them so they can work together. Look for that because they don't have teammates in front of them.
I don't see any Chevrolets out there, though, to screw each other up.
Fully manufacturers were a thing here. Oh, thank God.
We'll just have to see what happens. The pace car getting ready to get out of the way It goes down pit road, and we are about to go live. We are going to have 4 laps of racing here once we go green. David Cook, once again on older tires. He's trying to make it work. He's the control car on the inside. They're waving him green, and there goes David Cook. Good jump by Cook over Volpus and Hillman side by side. After them, Matt Novella also in that 4th position, followed up by David Owens and Hunter Hall. David Owens got to love finding himself back up in there, and we're 3 wide again. Oh, David Cook about to get 8 up. You can see both lanes go around.
Oh, and they're going around. Sanders around, and we're having their yellow. Not going to be. Oh, that's Buddy Sully. Super stoked he got that win last week. Doesn't have to worry about what happens today. And man, going back to that restart real quick as we see what happened here. Looks like Sanders gets hooked by the 3 of Walton as they exit that corner. Just not clear. It's going to see a lot of that potentially as we're going to overtime after this.
But T-bone steak right there too.
Yup. David Cook being as good as he is at restarts, because every track we go to, he just seems to be able to control restarts better than essentially anybody. Really came back to bit him there, because at a track like this, if you get too big of a gap and that line or the lines behind you can get ahead of steam before you're able to catch the draft behind you, what just happened to Cook is, I mean, essentially what happens. David Cook falling all the way back to 5th place now, me and Gene, as Joe Volpus will control this next restart.
Wow, and you could just see back there, Sean Walton. He's used to
restart,
pushing his buddy, but not like that.
Right.
That guy's not. That's Jack Sanders, and he's not used to that. Here's that restart. You can see Volpus and Novella go up high, Hillman and Owens down low, and they just split him. You can see the wreck in the background.
Mm-hmm. And yeah,
that's twice. Last 2 wrecks, that's Walton touching that inside bumper. He's got to be gentle. You got to be gentle. Not everybody's used to taking it that hard in their rear. Their pride car.
Touching people in their no spot.
And he gets a T-bone steak too.
Yes, he does. That won't be good for Waltman's car either, who I'm assuming also used his fast repair in that last accident. So that likely not good for Walton. But yeah, as we saw in the early part, I'm sorry to cut you off there, me and Jane, of that restart. Yeah, massive gap from Cook, and really didn't work out for him. Volpus likely going to be inclined not to do that. He's going to line up, I'm going to guess, me and Gene, since you do have lane selection, I believe, here in the Cup Series, on the outside with his teammate David Owens, and they're going to work together to bring this thing home. But what that will do will I thought it would line up Hillman and Hall. It will not. So yeah, I would very much do that if I was Joe Volpus.
Great shot right there of the right rear of the Louis approves of this candidate, Harris Walls 2024 07 Ford of Joe Volpus, currently in control. And I think we're going to be in a green-white checker situation. So this ought to be very exciting.
Yes, I believe we will. We got 3 of those if necessary. Maybe, as we just saw, we only made it through 1 set of corners there. So we will see a lot of cars that need a good finish today, need to make up a lot of spots quickly. So it's going to be very, very intense. And I'm assuming, like we've seen in the past couple of restarts, we'll be 3 wide within a matter of yards.
How about Hillman out there? He's run a very patient race. I haven't really called his name very often when it comes to hard drafting. So I bet his car is still in some pretty good shape as they're going in. I expect Volpus's as well. Volpus has avoided that smashing. Novella has avoided that smashing. We talked about maybe Arrow would start to come into it, and here we are in that green-white checker situation, and those cars that have been avoiding those hard smashes are at the front, and the guys that have been doing that hard smashing are in the back, and possibly the way Walton got into the rear end of those other 2 guys, maybe even causing issues.
Yeah, Hillman definitely has done a fantastic job today.
But again, Walton did not hit either one of those cars harder than he's hit Bollinger and Tucker all day long.
No,
That's how hard they're hitting.
That's a great point. He's not being inconsistent in the way that he's racing anybody. He's been a pretty aggressive pusher all day, and when you position your car in front of him, you kind of have to live with the repercussions and know what you're getting yourself into. But yeah, Hillman's done a great job today. Like I said before the broadcast started, coming fresh off a win from another league in a super speedway similar to this, Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta is Atlanta, but same set of skills, and Hillman was able to get the win there. And as I suspected, Volpis going to go with the outside and take David Owens with him on the top. So I would look for a little bit of a deal here where you might see Owens go slightly before.
That's another teammate. Novella's another teammate in the second row. So you got Gulf Coast Racing, 1, 3, 4.
So you can tell Novella, hey, don't give that 903 or 904 of Hillman any more help than you have to. We'll make sure you get to the top, while Owens and Volpis make sure they can control the restart. So Hillman kind of out in an island here, and that's what can happen in these races. And that's why, like we talked about before the broadcast or before the race started, why teammates and having friends out here is so important. But oftentimes there's a little bit too much give and take from teammates at these races, not wanting to mess up their teammates' race, and not going to allow someone like Hillman to take advantage of it.
Yeah, well, speaking of teammates, look at that outside of the third row and outside of the fourth row, and you're going to see Mata and Tucker. So if you play footsie, you play footsies too long up there, trying to play games and think you're going to control the race and slow things down. Those two guys are not afraid to make it 4 wide and go on the outside and see what happens. So we are really expecting to see some fireworks this green-white checker. I can't even make a prediction. If you were to ask me right now who I think is going to win, I mean, I might as well look back and say Walton wins from the 14th position. I mean, this is how crazy it's been.
You're totally right, and that wouldn't even be crazy in terms of what we've seen already. Like going from 14th to 1st in 1 lap is doable. It's happened all day. So yeah, I completely agree with you. It's entirely impossible to predict who's about to win this race. It's impossible to predict if we even finish it on this restart. And yeah, everywhere, or there's stories everywhere. You have Mata and Tucker lined up front to back again. The racing god's just giving us treats. And here we go, Mean Gene.
Yep, that pace car is going to be out of the way, and we're going to see Volpis. He's going to control this from the outside. He's in that 07 Louis approves car. Let's see what kind of restart he's going to take. And he is slow rolling it, really messing with Hillman.
And look at that gap with Novella. Lane. Look at the gap from Novella to Hillman.
Yeah, Novella ain't going to help.
Nope.
Oh, he does, though. Look at that push. Novella did come in with that late push, but still, that late push is going to make him go fast, but not fast enough. As you can see, that great start there by Volpis. Owens, if he can finish second, doesn't need the win. That second place will get him into that next round. Then behind them, look at Tucker and the 16 of Mata hooked up. They are the lead cars on that outside lane. They don't need any help. You know they're going to help each other, but there's a big gap. Then Beverly slowly closing up Jay Stinson. Inside lane looks to be in control, but I don't expect that to last very long, as there it is now. So Gulf Coast Racing, the bottom 3 cars with Volpis, Owens, and Novella, but the outside, Hillman. What is Tucker doing? He abandons his teammate Mata to make it 3 wide, taps Mata. That's John Beverly on the outside. Jay Stinson as well. This is some foolishness as teammates go out the window.
They are not teammates, me and Gene, unless I'm wrong, but those guys have been at each other. But there goes Mata, and here comes Tucker. Hillman lost all the help he needed. He might have one more chance of this. And they're wrecking behind him. Oh, he's upside down. That is not good. As here comes Novella to the front of the field. Novella going the outside lane. And here comes Hillman and Tucker with a massive run. Hillman not going to do anything with it. Hillman touches, and there's a big wreck again.
Takes out Owens.
Oh, and Volpis is going to run away with this. Joseph Volpis. We haven't seen his face in a minute, and it looks like Stinson's going to try to catch him. We'll see if he can get any help, but Joseph Volpis is all alone trying to get the checkered flag. Mata is linked up with Cook. This is going to be crazy, but I think Volpis should be able to do it. Massive run from Mata to the top. Oh, he's not going to be able to do it. This could be close.
No. And he gets eaten up.
But Stinson! Stinson gets it done, it looks like. Jay Stinson wins it. Unbelievable. Wow, Mean Gene. Wow. I basically gave it to Joseph Volpis. I thought he had it, but no lead is safe at Talladega. It wasn't even a turn left. It was just that long front stretch with that start-finish lane at the end of the straightaway, and that was enough time for Jade Stinson, who also didn't have a ton of help, but found it at the end while all hell broke loose below him to get the W. What an insane finish. We have to go so far back on this one.
Yeah.
Good call, Kevin, going all the way to the front. I mean, all the way to the beginning of our restart. So in the beginning, Hillman looked like he was in the catbird seat, but not for long. And is this where Stinson was to start the restart? Wow, we were right, Mean Gene.
Look at that tap right there.
This is going to be crazy.
Parham gets split. He's 3 wide. Fades back. He's safe. We can look up a little bit further where all the blocking starts. Stinson's going to go high.
Yep. And so here's where I thought that Hillman was going to win, Mean Gene. I was like, this is a great situation. Oh, I'm sorry, right here. He's going to go to the top.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
And then
he's got
all of a sudden, Hillman goes up high, and he's got that great push.
I knew Owens would bail on him.
I hate you, but I'm going to push you hard. And then there it is. Look at Tucker. Goes underneath, makes it 3 wide, and this is where dirty air just goes over the top of every car.
Yeah, you're so right. It's killing those runs. You can see it right there. Look how far back everyone's falling. That's not directly in the draft. That's not organized. Hillman's run at this point is nearly killed. He's going to get one more shot at it.
Look in the back there. Walton, Swingle. Swingle goes to the Bollinger.
We'll look at that. We'll look back at that one.
So that might be... No.
Oh, no, he did not. He did not.
3 in a row.
Looks like the 28 of Garin may have got into the car in front of him. I mean, everyone's going for it. They were essentially almost 4 wide there. All bets are off. I mean, that's just the last lap of Talladega there.
Yeah, Richard Swingle pushing as hard as he could.
Did it for Dale.
Oh, and then the 8 of Colin Bollinger just goes upside down. Yeah. And then here we go up front all of a sudden. And Joe Vulpes thinks he's got this thing in the bag. And then there's all kinds of wrecking.
So here, a pretty aggressive block from Novella. You can't blame him because if he doesn't throw this block, I mean, his race is over the same way it's about to be. But
and
him
he's got
and him,
2 teammates he's working for right there too.
True. And
then he kills his own teammate.
And Owens is going to finish 13th in this race, Mean Gene. So that's awful for him. He's so lucky this wreck happened in front of him. And here it just goes absolute chaos. And at this point, if I'm Joe Owens, I'm like, Joseph Vulpes, I'm like, I won this race. He's not even in frame right now. And there's Stinson behind him. He has no help either. There he goes, going to get some of Vulpes' draft, use it to get the outside run. And just no hope for Vulpes. What a finish that was. Oh my gosh.
Absolutely insane racing there at the end. Gotta really love what you saw. And I already hear race chat asking MRL officials to take a second look at what had happened. So
wait, do we have do we have like some under the line action or?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about under the line. I think they're just going to be micromanaging. Heck, they might weigh a car at the end of this thing. You never can tell.
You never can. There it is.
Let's go ahead and take a peek. Oh, I closed iRacing and it shut down my standings.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead and take us through the top 10, please.
Yeah. So in first place we got Stinson, and then we got Garin. Who, wow, that's impressive. Great job for him. Third place Vulpes, so still came out there with the podium. Michael Mata brings it home 4th. Hunter Hall with his first top 5. Congratulations to Hunter Hall. Jax Duvall, amazing recovery to come home 6th. Protect that playoff spot. Justin Parham, 7th place. That will be interesting to see if he did what he needed to do to make it to the next round. Sinners in 8th, Lewis in 9th, and rounding our top 10 is Tony Iverson. Other notables, Hillman bringing home 11th after having a chance to win that. David Owens 13th. Whoa, we'll see, Mean Gene. I think that should be enough, though. Tucker, after all that, 15th. Cook 19th. Dodson 18th. A lot of our front runners, Bollinger 20th. A lot of our front runners didn't work out for them in the end.
Really unfortunate, but some exciting racing for us, the fans. Right now, nobody jumping down to be interviewed. They're all still shook after what they just saw.
Wow.
I think the first person I'm going to want to talk to, though, is probably going to be old Joe Vulpes. So let's see if I can hunt him down.
And we got Stinson, but we'll save Stinson. Congrats, by the way, Jay.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. We'll get Vulpes in here. I'm sure Vulpes. Take it away, Mean Gene.
I think I got him. Joe, you got your ears on.
No, what's up?
Hey, it's Joe Vulpes, driver of the Louis Approves This Candidate 07 Ford. I'll tell you what, bud, I thought you had that thing at the end, and if it would have ended one lap earlier, you would have. Were you surprised to find yourself, though, in that position, the way that stage 1 went?
No, because the way I was playing the race was just running around in the back, waiting for the end of the race, just making sure it didn't wreck the car or anything. It's usually my strategy going into super speedway races is if I can't get up front where the racing gets calm, then I'll just chill in the back until it's money time.
Well, I'll tell you what, you were definitely putting on a display there at the end of that race, and you had to feel really good up front with Matt Novella and David Owens to help you. But suddenly, you guys just came under attack. Enemies earlier in the race, suddenly Michael Mata and David and Matt Tucker become friends to try to shoot through that pack and make that hard attack on you guys. How did those guys catch you there at the end? I mean, you had a good gap. You were almost out of that screen. Were you still wiggling from contact, or did they just have a draft together?
Well, I guess I'm not really sure how they gained so much momentum that quick after what happened behind me, but pretty much I was out there by myself. So there was never any contact with me until coming into the tri-oval, and it was just gonna be too hard to try and make too big of a block where I didn't want to like wreck everybody, and I mean I probably could have thrown a little bit of a better move than I did, but I didn't. I've been in that situation before, and it didn't end well with me before, and yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it.
No, I think overall you got to be pleased. You didn't get in the way of anybody. You know, Joe not being part of the championship race, the championship playoffs here, and yet still managing to be up in the front, leading those laps at the end. Unfortunately, two series of wrecks there at the end. You avoided them, but the momentum of that second group just kind of carried those cars past you. Jay Stinson ended up taking the win. But Joe, third place, you got to be pleased. It was Colin Bollinger upside down this time and not you. So congratulations on that. I guess Monday came early, and Joe Volpus is going to finish on the podium. Joe, you want to give a shout out to anybody?
Yeah, you know, it's been a while since I've raced in here. I do want to give a shout out to you guys. I know I produced with you guys a couple weeks ago, you and Zach. You guys do a great job in the booth. And Kevin, you do a great job producing, better job than I could ever do. So shout out to all three of you guys for the great production you guys put on every week. It was great to have my dip in the water there, toe in the water a couple weeks ago with you guys at Charlotte Roval, and just a big shout out to everybody that races with us. It's so nice to see this field be 20 plus cars every week. I remember when this series first started about a year ago, and we were racing with maybe 8 people on a weekly basis. So it's just so much it's so much fun to see 23 people show up to a race.
Yep, and it just gets bigger every week. Anybody out there, you're interested, this is the place. Moonlight Racing League. Reach out to our admins. You can reach out to John Beverly. You can reach out to Joe Volpus, David Owens, all these guys. If you race, we got a league for you, from wheeling modifieds all the way up to these next-gen cars. We got something. And if we don't, our sister series, the Bonfire Race League, they do as well. Joe, welcome back, and congratulations. That's Joe Volpus, the driver of the Louis Approves This Candidate 07 Ford. Great run, Joe.
Thanks, guys.
Nice run there by Joe, and I was real happy to not see him upside down, Zach.
Yeah, me as well. Definitely deserved it. He's been through a rough season, so happy to see him have the success he deserves and that we know he's capable of. And yeah, the fact that he's such a nice guy and a classy driver is why he didn't throw a wild block there. So hats off, Joe.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you an intro to your next driver. Happy birthday to you, and here he is.
Yes, happy birthday, Brandon.
Hey, thanks.
Hey, man, so celebrating your 38th, I believe you said, and also, man, you went through hell and back on that one, didn't you? I super impressed with that recovery today. So I'm assuming you used that fast repair on that first wreck, and then looks like you didn't get too much damage for that second incident, huh?
Yeah, and I actually didn't get any at all, to be honest with you. But I was stuck a lap down, and Jack Sanders he was lap down as well, but he was ahead of me after that one caution, and so I just thought it wasn't going to happen until the caution came out on, I think it was lap 65, 67, somewhere around there.
Hey, sometimes
so I was happy to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, being away from the mayhem is like the best thing sometimes. So hey, it worked out. What was it like being out there today? The intensity from calling from the booth was unreal. So tell me what it was like behind the wheel.
So after that wreck and I had to use that fast repair, I just kind of hung in the back because I saw everybody up there was slicing and dicing. It was fun to watch for sure, being in the car. I really didn't get into the mix until I got my lap back there, and I sliced and diced myself to get a second place. So it was
Smart
fun.
man.
My adrenaline was running.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Smart man, honestly, smart man. Because yeah, that was insane. We can't believe more incidents didn't happen than they did. But oh my goodness. So anyone you want to shout out before we get out of here, Brendan?
The 16. That's Michael Mata.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I done shoved him pretty good there at the end to get a second place finish. So
Hey, Mata's a
good.
class act.
I couldn't see anything, so I just followed him.
That's awesome. Hey, that's smart. Just through the Red Sea, whatever it takes. Awesome job, man.
Sure.
Happy birthday. Is it tomorrow or was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
Oh, happy belated, man. And I hope that was a cool little
Thank you,
present.
sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Before we do the leader, I have an opportunity here. I'd like to bring in another driver if he is available. Austin Merrow. Austin, are you there?
Yes, sir. I am here.
I'll tell you what, my friend, what is separated by 1 point from elimination, but makes it into the next round?
Yeah, that's silly. That's Dega. That's what it is. First I want to say, Mason should have really been here. We had a basketball league and he had a knee injury and had to go to the doctor. You really should have been here and raced. So I was trying to get up there, but man, I swear me and Dotson have magnets on ourselves when we come to Dega. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's just what happens, and it adds to the drama for you guys.
Oh, it was very exciting. And I'll tell you what, we saw some hard. It was not bump drafting. It was crash drafting. We watched Tucker, Bollinger, and Watson create a standard of pushing that just went all the way through that first round. It might have that first stage. It might have caused some incidents the second stage because a lot of those guys weren't ready for that heat that was coming from that rear car, and I think that's what we saw. But Austin, hey, good news, bud. You're in that next round, and it resets all the points. So that big old lead that some of these guys might have, that thing's gone. Y'all going to get the reset. And now you're just one win or a couple of really good finishes from pushing your way into the Final Four. Any final thoughts for us about what you saw out there today?
Hey, I wanna thank Jack Sanders for being a big help during this race. And you know what? My final thought is it's Monday Night Mayhem, baby, and that's what we do.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. We saw that firsthand. Austin, congratulations, buddy. I think we're off. We will see you in the Final A. Good stuff out of Austin Merrow. And Mason, sorry about your knee, bud. Heal up fast. All right, Zach, I think you got our leader in there.
Yes, sir. Jay Stinson. We got you there, man?
Yeah, guys, I'm here.
That was an adventure of a race. First of all, congratulations. And when that, I gotta know. So when that final incident happens and Vulpes is what, like almost a second in front of you, did you think you had it? Did you think you were gonna get the run, or were you like, okay, second's cool?
I didn't know if I was going to catch him. Once we got out of the turn, he kept getting closer and closer, and I was like, I may get a shot if I can get there. It just depends on how he was going to handle it once we got there. But that's what she said. Exactly. Vulpes is a class act though, so like he said before, I mean he could have threw something stupid out there. He didn't. He made a nice move. I was just able to use the momentum to get up and around him, and then I had Mata and the 57 there barreling down, so I was able to get up in front of Mata without doing anything too stupid, and get across first with a little extra push there.
Yeah, textbook move he made there, and yeah. Vulpes, again, I can't say enough good things about him, and letting that thing run out because, who knows, he could have gotten a push from behind. So definitely excellent moves from both of you guys. So you were definitely in the middle of it. Brandon, with his fast repair issues and having to run the back and being a lap down, wasn't able to experience it as much. You were in there a lot. What was that like today in that field?
Oh, it's crazy. It was absolute chaos everywhere. Like, you couldn't tell what one car was going to do to the next. Like, you were running, high, low. Next thing you know, 3 cars jump into the middle. Then another car jumps into like half middle, and you got 4 wide. And then it's like the brake or a parachute shoots out of like 3 or 4 cars, and you're dodging and weaving around those cars. And yeah, it was just absolute chaos the entire race. I've probably never sweated and am more tired in a race than that race right there.
Yeah, I get that. It looked like that the whole time. We were in disbelief for the majority of the race, and that's one to be proud of for sure. So awesome job, man. Anyone you want to shout out? And excited to see you race out the rest of the season too. I know not in the playoffs, but hey, a trophy's a trophy. That's what I care about the most. So congrats, man. That's awesome.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I had to miss some races with some stuff come up, vacation, stuff like that. But, I just want to thank you guys for broadcasting. I was here last year, so adding this broadcast has been just awesome to go back and listen to it and watch it. You, Mean Gene, Kevin, you guys do a great job, so it's always fun to go back and listen to these things. And you just make it that much more enjoyable. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you that's probably why you see 23 cars out here, and it's grown the way it is because of the show you guys put on. So first and foremost, thank you guys, and then thank the MRL for putting this league together and running it on Monday nights, and everybody involved in that to make that happen. And then my teammates run with Justin Parham and Matt Fritz, great guys, always have a fun time in the Discord, and just want to thank those guys for being in there and having some fun tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. And yeah, I hope so. And I mean, just the field size, it really is awesome to see. And I'd like to think that the broadcast has something to do with it, but it's also just the show you guys put on. I think also people watch it and like, I want to be out there with those guys because there's such good racing out there. And hopefully we can bring it to other days of the week because, yeah, I love sharing the track with you on Thursdays. And we know we put in a show those days too. So hopefully we can bring that everywhere. But yeah, again, man, congratulations. You deserved it. What a wild race, and way to be there in the end.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, heck of a run right there. I mean, all I can say is because he made it happen out there. Really good to see. And he also now becomes the top points getter that did not make it into the playoffs with that win. No surprise. Maybe a few more races he could have been in that championship run. And then this race would have put him into that group of 8. But as it stands, we now have our final 8 drivers prepared to make that race next week as this championship continues. Now there are only 8, Zach, as we move forward. What do you think? Does that make Buddy Sully, Tony Iverson your favorites again, or are you starting to fall in love with somebody else?
I mean, it's a lot about the tracks we go to, but out of this round of 8, that theme of being like, oh, anyone can win it only gets more and more true. So I'll list them real quick. It's Iverson, Duvall, Mata, Sully, Cook, Fritz, Owens, he did do it, and rounding it out is Austin Merrow. Just a group of 8 exceptional drivers who can win any given day. I don't know if I have a favorite, to be honest. I mean, based on...
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint.
Go for it.
Now that we're starting that next round of 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cook and Iverson are tied. Buddy Sully 3 points back. Mata, Duvall 6 back. Fritz, Owens, and Merrow 9 back.
Man, so that's a nice little buffer that Iverson gets to enjoy, and that's why you win so many races and control this. My favorite still is Iverson, just based off speed rating and laps led, but so much can happen as we've seen. We're going to a set of short tracks. Yeah, we're going to Darlington, where I think that'll be another place where cream rises to the top again. Similar to Indianapolis, that track, in my opinion, the most difficult on our schedule. I really expect to see guys like Iverson, Cook, Owens controlling that race. Then we go to Atlanta, which I believe is New Atlanta, so another super speedway, more predictability, another time where we can see any of those round of 8 guys get a win, and then Richmond, a short track to round it out. So really 3 different types of tracks that require 3 different sets of skills. Anything can happen. It's so hard to have a favorite, actually.
I don't know. I'm looking at that thing. Buddy Sully's so fast. Michael Mata's so fast. Fritz just had a bad race today, and I think that's what took him out. let's see here. I got so many opinions going into this thing. Iverson's been so consistent. I think he was just cautious this race, which is why we weren't calling his name. So just looking up and down, I can't tell you. And David Owens, this guy's due. In fact, let's ask my good friend here who he thinks is going to win it.
I like David Cook, but he needs to take tires at the end or he's going to get eaten up.
Well, I think that's a strong opinion. We'll have to see if the crew chief of that 71 takes a little hint from Mr. 47 himself and takes a tightening up. That's my thoughts on this thing, though. David Cook for real. I think if Cook gets those tires, I think he's going to have the advantage going down the stretch. He just runs that outside lane so much better than other people. And I think on the short tracks especially, he's going to have an opportunity to take advantage of that. But I can't count anybody out. And if there's the hungriest driver out there, has to be Austin Merrow. And after losing his buddy Mason, I think he's driving for two.
Yeah, I definitely think so too. Merrow driving with a purpose. You got to love it. And hope you heal up quickly, Mason. Sorry about that injury. But yeah, it's always nice to drive with a purpose and feel like you're driving with your teammates' honor. And it really does make a difference. That'll be fun to see. And yeah, back to Iverson super quick. Yeah, he did take it easy today. And like we saw, not just, to make sure that you stay out of trouble and just to have a clean, fun race since he's already locked in, but also not to make any enemies. How many new rivalries do we see kind of form up today? I'm sure Mata hoping he never has to see that 66 car in the next gen series again, and just a lot of storylines going in. So I think it was a smart move by someone like Iverson and Cook as well to kind of keep a low key through this, or a low profile through this race, and Sully for that matter, and just get through it and focus on the round of 8. They're probably already pricing Darlington, as challenging a track as that is. And Sully, yeah, another guy. He has really proven to shine on the super, super technical and difficult tracks. Look for him at Darlington. That one's going to be definitely a good opportunity for him.
Yep. I'll tell you what, though, I'm going to do a GoFundMe to get Matt Tucker a charter for next year. Love to see him in this thing full time. My final thought is sad to see Sean Walton finish 2 laps down. The guy ran so fast all day long, never changed his driving style. It's just that he ended up with different partners at the end. They weren't ready for the heat that he was bringing with his front bumper. And I think that's what caused a lot of that destruction at the end. Those last 3 cautions, real unfortunate. But again, guy never changed his style, and he was looking to win. I just don't think he had the right teammates. What about you, Zach? Final thoughts?
Yeah, why change at the end if you're him? What you had been doing all race besides the incidents have been working to get you up front, so why change then? And again, those outsiders, as Kevin Kyle likes to call them.
I got a couple thoughts in there, Zach, after you.
Kevin Kyle's gonna have some thoughts of this. I'm excited to hear him. But yeah, they always have a different set of priorities than the full timers, and we saw that in full force today. And I'm sure that's something that will be discussed in Discord, and maybe we'll discuss again next week, or we'll just move on from it. We'll see what we're going to do about that. But in terms of final thoughts, super excited about the round of 8. It's going to be a great one. I literally just got a text from a good friend of mine, one of my teammates in the other leagues we run, and also someone who runs our Thursday truck series. Shout out Dalton Geyer. He just texted me and said, this Cup series is the best kept secret in all of iRacing. And I literally couldn't agree more. I think I said it last week, and I said it on the Discord. This is the best league I've ever seen in terms of respect shown, parity, hard racing, and just incredible shows. Me and Gene, I legit cannot remember the last time I saw 4 wide that many times at Talladega in iRacing. That was just unbelievable stuff. These guys are so great. And yeah, it doesn't have to be a well-kept secret, guys. Tell your friends, like me and Gene always says, tell your dogs, tell your grandma, tell your parents. Let's get these fields filled out. Now that the playoffs are here, maybe come for 1 or 2, get a feel for it. But next year, let's get 30 cars every day, and let's really show how good of a show we can put on. But enough about me. No one cares. Kevin Kyle.
Here he is, last year's pole sitter.
Polls. I love me some polls. I just got a problem with guys with 1 start and 3 starts coming in here on a playoff race and not showing any respect to some of these other drivers. I hope some of these drivers from Monday night go in the Wednesday night and pay some of these guys a visit in their playoff race and maybe repay the favor. But I think respect goes a long way in these leagues. So I hope we can all show it to each other as these playoffs go over, because that's just ridiculous. But yeah, other than that, good race tonight, guys, and looking forward to next week.
It's a good point. I mean, like we really do say a lot about, like, you don't have to face repercussions if you come in here as a part-timer and do some things on a Monday. But if you're racing the playoffs on Wednesdays, you kind of do. So good point.
Hey, Zach, back in the day in Major League Baseball, in the National League, pitchers used to have to bat, and they'd have to come to the plate and pay the fiddler for the way they were throwing at other people. So maybe Kevin's request might come to fruition. Maybe we'll see some Monday night guys out there on a Wednesday. But I don't think so. I really think that the Tucker and Mata situation was just a slow escalation. Did Tucker come up hard? Yes, he did. I don't think he would have done it if he thought he was going to alter the course of the race. And then Mata, of course, he's going to respond. And then Tucker responded. So I think it was little micro adjustments more so than just trying to throw a fastball right into the head of somebody. So hopefully these two guys will get a little chance to chat and let each other know, I'm not trying to ruin your race. I didn't know you were that fast. I was trying to win. I've talked to Tucker before. He's a fiery guy, but all these guys that run at the front are fiery dudes. That's why they're up there. Mean Gene, I get a little wild on the mic, but once you get behind that wheel, I'm waiting for you to crash if I'm going to pass. That's my last thought on that one. Great racing, though. Cannot wait to see us next week as we go into more of those short tracks, and that'll give these other guys an opportunity, some of these short track experts, to take that opportunity. Moonlight Racing League, Monday Night Mayhem. That is our final first round elimination. We are now in that second round. 8 guys battling as we move forward. Right now, the attention turns back to David Cook, Tony Iverson, as they are tied atop the poll, and we will see what they can do next week. I'm going to sign off for us, ladies and gentlemen. As always, Mean Gene Money. I've got Zach Panzarella. We got Kevin Kyle. We are MR.